Hello, good evening, and welcome. Hopefully, I'm live. YouTube's not in a good mood tonight. Could be my machine. I think I'm overstretching it again. But hello and welcome. If you are with us, say hello. I'm about to log into the chat, so I shall see you. If you say hello, I will see you. Let's have a look. Good. I'm being told I'm here, which is amazing. I'm doing this on a different machine tonight. I've decided it's far too much rubbish on the desk. So I'll leave the other machine and I will put it on here. And it's all okay. So if you're there, say hello. Oh, jolly good. Liking that. Okay, so I'm saying hello in the chat. If you're there, you say hello in the chat. We have got so much to show you tonight. And if Mike could see my screen, he'd be laughing his little cotton socks off. Oh no, Mike, the one over there. I turn on my laptop and that goes mental and wants to roll back my presentation 2 days. You know how much work I've just put into that. Yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening. Okay. No, like the unicorns, just don't touch it. So, hello, people are joining us. Hello. I'm glad you can be with us. I'm having great fun here. Well, I definitely don't want the one that was modified there the other day, so I'm going to save this one, I think. And hopefully that won't just completely destroy the presentation that I have spent hours and hours crafting. But I don't like to see messages like that. Hello, Graham. Good evening. I'll say hello all again. Oh, busy week. How's everybody else? I've been having great fun with stuff that has been amazing and some stuff that hasn't worked at all, and all kinds of stuff. So, oh no, was this Sierra, High Sierra, or Mojave? I honestly can't. I'll have a look. Honestly, can't remember if there was one for Mojave, wasn't there? Or was there? I've got no. It's not in there anymore, is it? It's in the other bit. System preferences, just to hide it, and it's under software update. That's where it is. Let's have a look. Checking for updates. Don't strain yourself because I've no intention of installing it. Hello, Jonathan. Fantastic to see you. Now, if I'd have been more on the ball, we'd be watching a video right now. But at the moment, Camtasia's still kicking it out, so bear with me. Hi, Sierra. Oh, mine's looking like it's doing something. So, oh no, my Mac's up to date. It's a miracle. Your Mac is up to date. Mojave 10.14.3. Last check Friday. Excellent. Good evening, Carl. I got your mail. It's been one of those weeks. I will be replying to you when I clear the decks, which could be sometime around Christmas, the way it's going. How the devil is everybody? Oh, what score's this? I know there's a match on. Southampton, Liverpool. All right, fair enough. Let me see how we're doing. Oh, Camtasia's nearly getting there, which is fabulous. But we've got lots that we can talk about and look at it in the meanwhile, and I can show you what we're going to be looking at tonight as well. The issue is we've been a bit busy, haven't we?
We've been a lot.
And I'm thinking some of the tech didn't work either. But I can't for the life of me remember what now. We also went out, which was very nice. And have arranged to go out again. But I'm exporting this video. And when I've exported it, I'll need to run it through Handbrake, so the fans will really go crackers, won't they? But I like these things. I like them. Didn't know you had to get the YouTube chat to YouTube app to see the chat, Jonathan. Oh, Jonathan. Anyway, we've got something that you will all love. I think you will. When I can get Handbrake to compress it, you will. My volume's low. Okay, let me have a look at that. Let me have a look at that. Volume low. No, a bit lower than normal. That's odd. Because when I did the live, did I do some tinkering, Mike? It's telling me it's at 100%. And it's not going through anything else. But I agree with you. It does look a little bit on the low side. Right, okay then, hang on, brace yourselves. No, I'm not going to talk loudly, I'm just going to up it to 200%. How does that? Is that any different? If not, something's going hideously pear-shaped. Better? Not better? No! No. Oh, hang on. I know what'll have gone wrong. It'll be that sound thing that's got a mind of its own, won't it? Let's have a look. Output volume. There you go. Drop like a stone. Right. How's that? Is that any better? Output. Right. I've sorted it. How's it now? Excellent. Right. What had happened was something, I don't know what, had changed it at system level in the sounds preference panel, which made it low everywhere. What could have done that? Because I've not been into Skype. I leave Skype alone because it does all kinds of things. That happened once to Mike, and he got crucified for it. Because we were trying to record a MacBites, and the gating and then the settings meant it cut him off. Love it.
Happened to me when
yes. Well, you see, that happened to me when I have lovely MacBiters to tell me that it's all to cock. Right, how am I doing with my Camtasia? 95%. Right, I'm going to talk about some other stuff, and then I'm going to show you the video that I'm going to export through Handbrake when Camtasia gets to 100%, which is now at 4% to go, 4% to go. Right, but I'll show you what we've got going tonight anyway. Let's get going with that. And then I'll have to come out the presentation to go back into it. I know what I'm talking about, but you might think I'm insane. Right, first of all, let me make sure you can see my desktop. Because if you can't, it's not going to be a great demo tonight, is it? So let's try that. Can you see my screen? It does sound like work.
Can you see my screen?
And that lady you've been talking to all day. Right. You'll go and see if they can see the screen, honestly, Mike. I'm assuming that you can, so I'm going to show you what we've...
Yes.
Oh, look! Export finished. Excellent. We'll reveal that in the Finder, and then I'll do magic with it. But in the meanwhile, I'll save that. And, oh, don't take forever to save. Please don't do that. Right, let's go and get a recording. One of these. And what do we want? We want that. And will we have that? Oh, go on. We'll have the lot. That's what we'll do. Right, I've got a video. Now, I was just hoping I could pop this video into Keynote. I've just discovered it's 49 gig. So I probably won't be doing that. And what I'll do is I will process it out through Handbrake. And when it's finished, I will share it with you. So let's get that exporting. And hopefully that won't take the best part of the rest of my life. Wow, I share this with you. Yay! Okay, now, bit of a changing running order because the video isn't ready yet. But AirPods have arrived. Ooh, did you follow along on Facebook and Twitter? Affinity brushes. I promised that you would see Affinity brushes and well, you will see Affinity brushes. What happens could be a surprise to me as it is to you. Not much time to prep. However, we're then going on to look at colours. This was Graham's idea, so if it all goes wrong, I'm blaming Graham. But I put a twist on it. Graham's original brief I'll talk about later, but it was very specific, and I've gone a little bit broader with it because Graham, there's nothing. Short version, too long, didn't read version. There's nothing, but I'm working on it. And iWork got an update. Who was cognizant of that? Who was aware that iWork had actually got an update? An update that was actually worth looking at in two regards, and those are the two regards that we will be looking at them with. Then Whodaspot. Love Whodaspot. New version came out this week. I've been beta testing it since Christmas. It's fabulous. So I thought I'd give you a very brief look at that. If you want more of a detailed look, you need to let us know. Then there's saving money with Cently. That saved me quite a bit this week, which took me into sharing something else with you. So there's absolutely loads to go through tonight. See, this is what happens when we miss a week. It's a jam-packed show full of exciting things, and we've even got an unboxing. Actually, we might have a huge unboxing. You know, the big one that's downstairs. I didn't carry it upstairs. It was very heavy.
I don't
Oh, that would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we'll do
Is
that
it
one
my
then.
blow-up doll?
No, it's not a blow-up doll. Do you know, but for the fact that a certain friend of ours could well be watching this video, I'd tell them what we've got on the desk that's a blow-up toy. I'll tell you what I'll do, guys. Right, he's getting it in 8-9 days, isn't he? Right, not next week's show. The week after. Talk about planning, 2 weeks in hand. On the 19th, I'll share a photo, maybe a video, of this blow-up thing we've got on our desk. I'm just leaving it there like that because I know the guy has watched some of these shows and I don't want to spoil the punchline. But that's our plan. Anyway, quick catch up. This is the third time we're discussing these, but hey, it's got to be done. The shiny new Microsoft Office icons. I found a fabulous piece, which I think the link is in the show notes, but if it's not, Mike will find it and deal with it. These are the new shiny Microsoft icons, which I must admit, slow burn for me. Bit of a slow burn. Until I read this article, and it took you through the entire evolution of the icons and how they've got to where they are and why they've done what they've done. And I found it fascinating. Mike was less fascinated than that, despite there being an Excel one. But it's well worth a read. It's good for design in general, but it actually gives you such an insight into the fact they've really thought this through. And one of the things was they've moved away from it representing a file because all the stuff's in the cloud now. So I thought it was well worth a read. I like the way they've done it, very practical and tactile as well. That you can see they've actually cut it out and they're actually placing them together in the old-fashioned way. Really good read from Medium. So Mike will put the link to that in the chat right now. And I think we have come a long way. That drop shadow is shocking, isn't it? It makes the icon from 2003 look appalling. I thought I preferred the 2013 one, but I've got to say it's growing on me. What do you guys think? I've only got one on my iPad and iPhone at the moment, which is the Outlook one. Haven't got the others yet. Bit peeved about that, but I'm sure we'll get there in the end. Right, now, technically, we should be going into the AirPods. Let me see how that video is doing. Have a look at Handbrake. Oh, it's going to be a little bit of a while first. Hang on. Yes. Oh, nice. Nice. I don't use Outlook on the watch. I'm afraid I don't do that. Let's get Chrome up so I can see this. Right, how are we doing now? You don't like the logos, Jonathan? It's well worth a read whether you like them or not. They are growing on me a little bit, but I think it's just you can't do anything about it, so they've got to grow on you kind of thing. Right, this is telling me that the video I'm trying to process is going to be an hour. All right then, have it your own way. So, AirPods, we'll come back to that. We will move on to those Affinity brushes, I think, which is going to be an adventure in itself. Because you need to see, when we talked about the Affinity brushes, let's go and talk about Affinity brushes. We talked about these last week. There was a sale on. Now, the sale's over, sadly, but I did give you lots of heads up about getting these if you wanted them. So basically, it was a collection of 6 brushes and assets for all things Affinity. And what I did last time was I showed you chunky markers. And I did a very rough MacBites. Anyway, upshot of all that was you wanted to see how to get these things installed. So I showed you how to do it on the Mac. Doing it on an iPad is not that much more difficult, being honest. But I will show you that tonight. Which means you're going to need to see my iPad, which is always an adventure, isn't it? But we'll go and see if we can do that. See, I had it plugged in because I was recording a video that went very well. So let's see if this is going to be any good. What mood's it in tonight, Mike? I live in hope, but usually die in despair. So I'm going to unplug it because every time I turn it on, iTunes starts. Mike says it's me. I don't think it is me. But then I wouldn't, would I? Okay, let's get that reflected so you guys can see it. Turn that on. Oh, don't you love it when something works? Now, before I get giddy with it working. Right, what I need to do with this, we've worked it out. This isn't thrown together, you know. we've worked out I can't turn it round. If I do turn it round, it's going to go mental. It's going to throw its toys out of the pram. So I'm going to lock the screen. That should take care of it. And there is Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer in my photos and videos bit. Now, brushes. First thing to think about. You're going to need to put those brushes somewhere you can get to them. That means a cloud service. I have put those brushes in that cloud service, so I'm just waiting now for them to appear. Other thing to think about, what sort of brushes have you got? Because Photo and Designer can use the same brushes if they're made that way. So we'll go in and have a look at Photo, I think, first, and then we'll go back into Designer. Right, so I'm just going to get a new file that's completely blank because it doesn't actually matter. For installing these brushes, it doesn't actually matter at all. Now, the blue dots, that's my fingers. So you can turn on in the Affinity apps. They're sort of assistive, aren't they? They're assistive, they're teaching assistive rather than assistive, if you know what I mean. Now, when you install fonts, which I have talked about, you can remember where you install fonts. Because I find this a little bit strange. What I would like is a central location for managing extensions and add-ins and stuff. But what they've done is they've gone for one location that's consistent across desktop and iPad for brushes. The rationale for that, if I go back and show you in here in the settings, this is where you install your fonts. So that's through your preferences. Does make sense if you think about it though, because you wouldn't go into Affinity Designer or Photo if you wanted to install fonts. You would do it at system level. So that's why they've hived that off into the systems section in here. But when you install brushes, if you think about how you do it on the desktop, you actually go into the brushes panel. So on the right hand side here, so I'll just touch there all the way down there. I know that's moving, but it's all of these toys here we're looking at. And in there we have brushes, and you already have several collections of brushes. So let's go in there and choose a colour that's not too offensive for us to look at while we have a play around with them. So you tap on your brush and then you draw. Simple as that with your brushes. And the brushes give you completely different effects. Now these brushes that we're looking at now, these ship with it. So you access them via that studio panel there. And it says brushes at the top. You can use the pin to pin it, but I don't intend to pin it. And you've also got the square burger menu at the top. Now you also have, because at that point you're thinking, what brushes have I got? If you tap where it says painting, you have all of these brushes included. Now they do scroll round themselves. So we've got recent at the top, followed by basic, all the way down to the daub watercolour brushes, which are these ones here. And those ones ship with it. Who uses brushes to a great degree? I must admit, I don't actually, but I think that depends on what I'm actually using. What I'm doing. And most of the time I'm creating artwork rather than actually sitting there with a pencil and actually drawing it. But hey, that's me. So that's one way to access the brushes. Tap on the name and you get this scrollable list that just keeps scrolling and scrolling forever. The other way to do it, so coming out of there, away you go, let's go for, are the arrows, which will move you back through the same collections of brushes in the interface. So that's quite an interesting one, isn't it? Oh, I'm liking that. That would look much better if it was a different colour. There we go. Why is it doing that? Oh, it's multicoloured. I'm liking that. Like confetti. As you can see, if that's the best I can do with artwork, that's why I don't use brushes often. But you get the idea. Right, so let's go back into the brushes. So that's how you use the brushes that actually come with it. Now, you've got all of the standard things you can do with that as well, which are down the bottom of the screen, starting with width, opacity, flow, hardness. It's a more section. You can protect the alpha and you can set the colour from down there. So what you've got at the bottom is like your brushes context menu, contextual menu for brushes. So that one at the moment is 140 pixels. If I drag that back, you can see what happens in the more bit. As I go over here, it goes up. As I go there, it goes down. So let's have that much smaller and draw around there. And you can see a totally different effect with it. But all of that is working with the brushes that you already have. But if, like me, you have bought brushes, let's see the brushes that I have bought. New Finder window, where did you disappear to? Hello, New Finder window. Oh, which screen are you on? 17 screens, where are you? There we go. Right, this is my Finder. Oh, I've got that set to oh, that's where it'll be behind it. Love it, I've set that to stay on top. So I'm going to narrow this down so you can see where the brushes actually are. And they are in there, Affinity brushes. And these are what I downloaded. And so if you've downloaded them, you will have exactly the same as I will have. So these were the smoke and cloud brushes, and this was what you got. You got the AF brushes file. There were 3 of those. There was a PDF. Don't tell me you've opened that on the other side. Oh, you've opened it behind it. Fabulous. That's a sample file, and there was a thank you, which I made a PDF of. All of them work in a similar way. But you'll notice this chunky markers one, which was the one I demonstrated last time, has a zip file in it. They didn't give me that zip file. I've got that zip file. But many of the brushes that you will purchase will ship in a zip file. So you have to know what to do about that, which is basically unzip it. So that's what I've got, and I've put them in Google Drive. I'm hoping I'll be able to access them from Google Drive. I'm not saying Google Drive's the best place to put them, though. Sometimes I had a problem trying to access certain cloud storage. So I actually tend to put them in iCloud, which may or may not be a good idea, but that's what I'm tending to do with them. So let's have a look how to access those brushes. Well, it's back to that menu in the top right-hand corner. You can see you can add a category, remove a category, rename a category, but you can also import and export brushes. So if you've made some brushes, say custom brushes, because you can at the bottom, you see, new intensity brush, new round brush, new square brush, new image brush. So you can actually do that on your iPad, at which point you may need to back them up. So before we import them, let's have a look at exporting brushes. So there's only 4 brushes in there. That'll make it a quick export, won't it? So we'll tap there, export brushes. It brings up here, let me just fold that up, all the cloud services, or actually all the services that you have enabled in your Files app. So it's not just cloud services. You can see I've got iCloud and Google Drive and Box and Dropbox, but I've also got File Browser, which we've looked at previous weeks, Think to Go and PDF Expert as well. And you could export them there if you wanted to. But I'm going to put it in Drive. I'll just put it in the root of Drive. So there's all my, you've seen all those folders. That is my Google Drive root thereof. So I'll just tap Add, and hopefully that will export it into that folder. And eventually, on my desktop, it should appear in the root of that. So let's go up a level. View my drive. My drive. There we go. It should appear in there, hopefully, at some point. There we go. Effects, After Effects, Affinity brushes. Okay, so very simple. I would actually say iCloud's faster than that. Google Drive does need to have a think about it, but that's because I'm running Google Drive on my desktop. It's actually an app that's installed, hence it appearing in my Finder. So it's that simple to export any brushes that you have either created or customized. Now, what we're doing is the opposite of that. We've got brushes that we want to bring into the iPad version of Affinity Photo. You need to be made aware that not all Affinity brushes are made equal. There are several types of brushes. The biggest distinction is whether they are raster brushes or vector brushes. Now, obviously, raster brushes can be used in Photo, and vector brushes can be used in Designer. but you'll find that it isn't such a clean split as that. You do need to understand the differences between the raster brushes and the vector brushes. And the big thing to remember is with the vector brushes, as the name implies, they're vector. They can be neatly scaled. They don't lose quality, all the rest of that. The raster brushes, you may need... What on earth is going on this iPad over here? I've got another iPad here I'm trying to work with at the same time, and it's not having it. So now I need a different iPad. And doubtless, this is why I've got so many iPads. Doubtless that one will need charging, and I'm not wrong. It's at 21%, and it needs me to input my password. Oh, got to love these things, haven't you? Right, so as I was saying, raster brushes. Raster brushes, they can actually, surprisingly, be used in Designer. But there is one caveat on that. You must be in Pixel Persona for them to work. So if you're trying to get them to work and you think, she said they'd work and they're not working, there's a reason for that. So the big distinction is raster versus vector. But within that, you then need to understand that the raster brushes can work in both Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer, whereas the vector brushes can only be used in Affinity Designer. But to use the raster brushes in Affinity Designer, you must be in Pixel Persona. So it's not difficult. It's just something that you actually do need to remember. So, first step to installing these brushes was unzipping them. Now, if you've got an app like File Browser, you'll be able to unzip them in there. If you're on the desktop, you can unzip them there. If not, don't forget Zipped. Zipped for iOS. It's about 99 pence, and that will unzip them for you as well. But, as we know, now what? Oh, words fail me. What is that actually doing? Having a rare old think about it. Thank you for that. You're still sharing, but you've just disappeared. Marvellous. Where was I? I was in there, wasn't I? Oh. iPads, why do I bother? Right, back to where we were. Don't do that again. Right, we're just getting to the interesting bit there. We were going into the brushes, we were going into the burger menu, and we were going to import brushes this time. Oh, there's that photo of me. Be afraid, be very afraid. Okay, it was in Drive, so I'm tapping on Drive. And those are the ones we exported, so that says effects. The only other thing I've got there is my PDF, but they're in Affinity brushes. I would say if you are going to use brushes like this, do keep them separate so you know which is which and where they came from, and you've got all your assets there. The last time we looked at chunky markers, so let's have a look at chunky markers. There's chunky markers. Oh, it doesn't like those, does it? Doesn't like those. Maybe they're the wrong type of brushes. Let's try a different one. Watercolour, that must work. Now, this isn't working well, is it? I'm not seeing anything here that's working. You know, I said at the beginning here, see, there they are. But it's not actually loading them. That's fantastic, isn't it? Right, I said at the beginning, I hadn't had chance to run through this, which I obviously always usually do. And I didn't have time because I've had such a busy week. So what I'm going to do, just in case it's a Google Drive thing, and if it's not, then I really am up the proverbial creek without the proverbial paddle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Affinity brushes that I've got and I'm going to put them into iCloud. I'll put them into a demo folder in iCloud Drive. That's what I'll do. I have a demo data folder, which I will put them in. Oh, everything's moving at a total snail's pace here. Demo data. There we go. So let me show you what I'm doing here. I can't, can I? Because that's the front of the screen. Oh, come on. Not today, really. Right, I am uploading them as we speak. So let's go from there and go to iCloud Drive instead. And let's go to the demo data folder. There's my Affinity brushes. And what it's doing is it's swearing blind to me it's uploading them. But it's saying there's nothing in them. It's lying, of course. There is. Right. It's just not doing it for me. I'll have to wait a second to see if they do actually appear, but it's not actually doing it for me, which I'm not impressed with. What should happen is that I should just tap them, navigate to the brushes, and then tap to import them. Can't go wrong, they said. It's really simple, they said. Yes, and it's not working, I said. In fact, you can see I've got some of these that are, that should have more than 2 items in it, and this one hasn't got anything in it, and yet it's telling me it's uploaded it. iCloud is telling me it's uploaded it. It's lying. What's this here? Oh, it's a gig, honestly. Right, well, that's what should happen. We'll leave that strutting its stuff. Got to love live demos, haven't you? Talking of which, how's that video doing? We'll be going to bed with this video, Mike. It's saying 52 minutes. I think it's 52. I should put my glasses on, shouldn't I? Yes, 52 minutes. Yes, we will be going to bed to it then. Come on. How are you doing? Are you there? Any one of them will do. I don't mind. Anyone. Have you noticed the things that aren't uploading are the actual brushes? And there's no way that there should be a gig in there. No way at all. Let me have a look what's in it. Oh, I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is. That'll speed it up a bit. What I'd done was I'd made some videos of installing them, which was a good plan, wasn't it? They were the thing that were a gig. So now it's uploading a few meg, so we should be all right. Yeah, there's only about 50, 60 meg, and it's taking forever. Thank you, iCloud. Anybody got any questions while we wait for this to struggle along with its little self? Now, it isn't Carl. You use an iPad, don't you, Carl? And Graham's got an iPad. Does this run on your iPad, Graham? I might have to move on to something that is incredibly interesting and brand new at this rate if these things don't upload. Honestly. Let's have another dabble with Drive and see if they will upload from here. There's absolutely no reason, but it's just not selecting it. So it's these things here in there, and it's not having it. It should just install. It could be that it's Drive. It could just be it's not in a good mood at all. But nothing pretty much is working at the moment. So let's have a go back in here and see if... Oh, we've got 4 items in there now. Oh, look at that. I've got some brushes. Thank you. That didn't take too long, did it? Right, we've got the watercolour ones. Now, you can see if you can't install the file, if it's not a brushes file, it doesn't light it up. So although this looks like the Files app, it's kind of pre-filtered for what it can import. And luckily, that is telling me that that's one of them. So it's now downloading that, which is 190 meg. Look at that lovely Wi-Fi speed, Mike. Right, so it's downloading, from iCloud, and it's installed them. So technically, yep, there you go, go straight to them. So what I'm going to do on here is get that eraser brush and get rid of, oh, that's very arty, isn't it? I guess I just don't want, I want the hardness up to 100% is what I want, and then I want that bigger. So let's get rid of that in the middle, and let's paint with the new ones. So it is that simple to install them. It's not tricky, that, is it? Let's go for that one there. Paint that on, and not with the eraser, we won't. Right, brush. Ooh, there we go. Oh, that one's interesting, isn't it? That really is watercolourish. I quite like the look of that one, but no, I prefer the other one now I've seen it. So you see, you get a very different effect with these brushes. I actually think it's quite difficult when you look at them at the side to make a guesstimate as to what they're going to look at. But obviously, if watercolour is your thing and you're an expert at it, then you'll know exactly which one you want. As I say, I very seldom actually use brushes. I certainly don't. If for artistic purposes, I would. So I've done wedding things where I want like confetti coming down the side. I've used brushes for that, but watercolour stuff, no. I'm no artist, as you can see. What is it you don't use much on the iPad, mostly use Goodreader? What was that one? What did I mention that Goodreader would be an alternative for? That could be Zipped or File Browser. The File Browser. You're not going to use Goodreader instead of Affinity Photo, Mike. Oh, right, I'm with you on the iPad. Ah, I'm with you. I use I use far too many apps. But that's how you install that on there. The doing it in Designer is exactly the same principle, but we'll go and do it anyway. Let's go and get Designer. You like that? You like that, like anything? Right, so go into there, same principle. Now, remember, I've got this here. These will be vector brushes. So the only brushes that you will see listed in there are vector brushes. Now, if we switch personas, into pixel persona. And when we go into the brushes, we have a whole range of brushes. So that's the trick. If you think I'm sure I've installed them and they're not there, make sure you're in the right persona. Once you're in that persona, and you're looking at your brushes, you can tap and import. Will take you back out to, in my case, iCloud Drive, into my demo data. No, it wasn't. It was into brushes. There we go. And let's see if we can install a different one, like the nature ones. You're still having to think about that. Has it finished uploading? Don't think it has, you know. So let's look at the chunky ones. So the chunky markers are there, and there's the sample over on the right. And we've got the grave etcher one. So it can install. Let's try grave etcher. That'll be good for all the software that's died a death this week. You know what's actually gone at last, don't you? Google Plus. I know, it's been dying for ages. There we go. That's not very big, is it? Make that much bigger. There we are. So once you're in the right persona, you can do that. But back into the vector persona, into the brushes. Go up there and import brushes. And let's go and get, was it the grave etcher one of those? There we go. Let's import that. And there you go. So this was more for, you think about that. Oh, I need to be, they're pixel based as well by the look of it. Where have you gone? You're making me out to be a liar tonight, aren't you? I thought they were vector. They are. Right, so what's your problem? Should we try it on the pen? Should we apply it to that? Put a border on it and choose that? No, I don't want a pattern. I want one of these. There we go. So these ones are vector. They will scale perfectly. So as you change this, you lose quality with it. Obviously, you need to be fantastic at drawing. And I'm not. But very simple to install them and exactly the same as the desktop. So we've looked at installing the fonts. We've looked at installing the brushes. I think next time we'll have a look at actually using said brushes. And I'll prep something that actually looks better than that does, which wouldn't be difficult, would it? I actually prefer doing what that has done, which is applying the brush to a pre-existing shape. That way I can make sure the shape's correct before I apply the brush to it. But that's how I go about it. But that is obviously how easy that is to install. And now let's go and get try sort. And let's do a new solid brush. And this is your brush editor, so you can make your own in here. So you can change the size of it. You get the preview at the top, so let's make that quite big. You have a size variance as well, so you can change the shape of that, pressure dependent, etc. And opacity, as you're at it. So take that up and as well. The controller there is pressure, but it could also be velocity, which is the speed you move it across the page. Then you've got that, which is it's actually hard to explain, but you see it's tapering at the ends. That's changed in here. So as I do that, you know what that looks like, Mike? You know those blow up balloons that they put in the shape of dogs? Looks like one of those. It does, yeah. That's not that again. Yeah, leave it alone, woman. Leave it alone. Don't make it any worse. But I've got a custom brush, haven't I? Oh yes, I've got a custom brush. So I will do that, and it should have stuck that right down the bottom. So at the moment, it's an unnamed brush, which isn't helpful. But if I tap and hold, I get rename. I'm going to call that balloon. Balloon dog. There we go, balloon. And that is now my brush. So I could apply my brush over here, couldn't I? Where's my shape? And apply it. Oh, you're going off the page. Don't do that. Right, how does that look? Oh, you can't see too much, to be honest. Point of doing that, though, and creating the balloon one was, at this point, only exists on this iPad. It's not backed up anywhere, so if you lose it, get stolen, anything like that, your brushes have gone. That's why you have that export option. And at this stage, it's exporting the whole lot, but that's not a problem. We'll stick it in the demo data. And all of the assorted brushes will get exported, and the balloon one will be there at the bottom. You can also there edit that, duplicate it, you can reset it, or you could move it. So you could make a custom palette with just your brushes in it and do it that way. But basically, everything that you can do on the desktop, you can do on the iPad. It's just a matter of knowing the nuances of where they've actually put it. But I think they've done an amazingly fantastic job of making that as near the desktop version as they can. It's no compromise, I don't think. We'll wait to see what Adobe managed to do with Photoshop. I'm just thinking about making a sarcastic comment about the price, but I won't. I'll refrain. I'll refrain from that. It'll doubtless only be for subscribers. So that'll be really useful, won't it? Not on a public forum, no. I mustn't be bad. I mustn't be bad. But there you go. That is using the brushes and installing the brushes. So let's get back to there. I'm just going to hover there gently and see if you notice. You know what, when people do that and you think, oh, what's that icon? What does that do? Have a look at that, because we'll be returning to that very shortly. Right, I've got no idea what was next. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this out of the way. Because though look, there's my drive behind it, and the other 15 things that it wasn't showing properly. But what I'm going to do here is I need to make sure that doesn't go to sleep. Can I do that from there, Mike? Or do I have to go into the system? That seems odd. I expected to be able to do it from there. I'll just have to keep it awake, because if it goes to sleep, that'll be the end of that. Right, let's get back in here then. So that's what we were looking at, brushes. Now, the next one, while it's thinking about exporting this video that you're all dying to see, well, I hope you're dying to see it, is I mentioned Graham and Graham's suggestion. Graham's suggestion was, can we look at what you can replace Colour Schema Studio with? Well, the short answer is not much. The longer answer is this is what I'm using at the moment. Now, it's not a replacement for Colour Schema Studio. Let me know in the chat if you use Colour Schema Studio. It was quite expensive for a Mac app. It's around the £40–50 mark. But it let you manage colour schemes, as the name implied. But it was amazing. You could have multiple libraries of them. You could create palettes from them. You could read them in from images. It was the real deal. It did everything. Colour Snapper 2 doesn't do anything like as much. But one of the jobs that I used to do with Colour Schema Studio, I have completely replaced it. There's no way it's running on my Harvey, believe you me. I've completely replaced it with Colour Snapper 2, which isn't expensive. Mike's about to find out how much it is. I think it's around the $3.99 mark. Could actually be a little bit more now, but I know I didn't pay more than that for it. So what I decided to do was, it's a big task to try and replace Colour Schema Studio, so I thought we'd do it in parts, and this is part 1. And we're going to be looking at Colour Snapper 2. But it's £8, so it's doubled since I've used it. £7.04p, where on earth? Oh no, that's Paddle. Can't you buy it from the store? Paddle do my head in. Activated software you can't deactivate. Let's not go round Paddle. $8.99 in the App Store. But once you've seen what it can do, maybe this would provide a job for you. It's one of those apps that if I haven't installed it on a new Mac, I'm like, why isn't that key working? It becomes that integrated with your workflow. Now, if you're not interested in this, I wanted to see Affinity Designer and do something. Don't worry. Demonstration's going to be creating an entire set of icons in Affinity Designer, but they have to be specific colours. Those specific colours. And managing colours like that, there's 10 of them, obviously, and I only have committed to memory one of them, which is the black one. Well, it's nearly black. Well, actually, it is black. I've just realised there's something wrong on that slide, but I'll deal with that later. To do that, I have to manage 10 colours, and I am not committing those to memory. But those are the colours that I need to do that with. So we're going to be using Colour Snapper 2. We're going to be using Affinity Designer. And then we're going to take the whole thing into Notion. So it's three demos for the price of one. I don't think you can say fairer than that. So what I'm going to do is show you what I use them for. What on earth do I use them for? So here we go. This is my live, unadulterated, yes, it's the one we use, Notion. And this is the page we use to manage the show. And it's got all kinds of stuff in it. But at the top, it's got our checklists. And we used to have them in black. So if you want to see our checklist, there's one of our checklists, which is how I put the thing together entirely. So yes, I did do that, and I think I did do that as well. So all of that is done. That's all the stuff that needs doing beforehand. And then, of course, there's the technical setup, pre and post show. And then there's the post show stuff that Mike does. So we have 3 checklists. There used to be just lines of text that look like these over here, which are just links. But they kind of got lost. So I thought, right, first thing I'll do is I'll put a header on it. Second thing I thought was I'll make them red. Then I got annoyed that when you put a page in, so if I put a page over here, I type in page and test page, just have it blank, and then we'll go back there. It looks like that. And I thought that icon, not good, because it just says pages. It doesn't actually say to me, oh, that's a checklist, which was when I came up with the grand idea of creating the icons. So when you go into it, you have your icon at the top. You don't need for every page to have an icon. You'll see down the side, some of them do, some of them don't. But to be honest, the majority of the ones that are in there do. So that's the icon we'll be creating, but not satisfied with that. Oh, no, no, no. When I look at the colours that Notion uses, it has a range of 10 colours. So let's go to that test page, and in there you can change the colour. So this is going to change the colour to one of 10 colours. What are the hex values? Not a clue. I have no clue at all. So that was my problem. That was where I was at. So let me show you what I did about that. First thing I did in here was in my reference section, in my Notion reference, I created a style guide. And I've made another one, which is there. But I still don't have the values that I'm going to need when I get into Affinity Designer to design the icons. All I know is they're the colours that I'm trying to match. I want those to match. So this is how I go about it. I have 2 shortcut keys. All look at your keyboards. If you're on a Mac, look at your keyboards. It's Command Option Control. So the bottom 3 plus the square bracket key. And the reason I went for those is the square bracket key, going the left one. If you use that in a design app, it makes the brushes smaller and bigger. So smaller on the left, bigger on the right. So it's a key that's in my head for design. By adding those 3 shortcuts to it, 3 keys, it enables this, which is a colour picker. So at the moment, when it's over the white, it's FF, FF, FF. But as I move it over here, it changes to the colour that is below it. Now, there's a couple of things you can do. You can use the wheel on your mouse to make that a bigger area or a smaller area. You can also use the control key, and all I'm doing is tapping the control key, and it takes you in and you can see it much easier. Because I don't want to grab that colour at the end, I actually need this one in the middle there. So that one and that one are the same. That's the colour that I'm looking for. So we'll start off with the black, because that's easy. Right, let's hover over the black. Having said that, that's not showing me what I expected. Which was, what did I say? FFFF? Or zeros? Whatever it is, that's not quite right. So maybe it's not jet black. But that's fine, it's near enough. We'll go there. We'll go for one of these 2 in the middle. And all I'm going to do is click. Now, top left, you may have seen that, you may not. In the future, keep your eye on the top left. it flashes up the hex value. Now you might think, well, that's a lot of good. I didn't see that. That was far too fast. It was, but fear not. It's put it on the clipboard. And that was the colour it was. So let's do that again for the grey. So it was Command, Option, Control, and right left bracket. And hovering over the grey. See, that doesn't look grey. That looks black. I think it's reset itself. Let me make sure that that is grey. That's grey. Right, so let's go back and get that. And I'll get it from that dot there. There we are. Top left, there's the colour. Don't need to worry about it. I can just paste it in. So I'll do one more. Let's move over that brown dot and grab that and paste that in. And this is what I actually do. Now, how's it working? Where's this app? What is there an app? I didn't see an app. Okay, the app is available. I've hidden it in Bartender. It is, where are you? That one there. So that's where you can see the pick colour, which is Command, Option, Control, and left bracket. And then colours and formats that I have on the other one. Okay, so that's on the right bracket. And then it shows me a list of recently picked colours there and some preferences. And the preferences are quite extensive. You can set your shortcut key. So I chose those. I don't believe they're the defaults. The precision mode can be activated however you choose. Now, it's a good job that they've actually done that because the control key can be problematic if you're trying to do that. Let me show you. If I activate that and I hold the control key down, now you may or may not be seeing this, but that's actually zooming in with the accessibility controls. So it might be an idea to change that control key. I've decided to leave it alone, but your mileage may vary. Right, now you can then choose the clipboard format. So you can actually choose it, which I didn't want because that means I'm going to get a screen that's going to come up and it's going to say what format do you want, and I don't want to be stopped at that point. I've told it to use the same format as last time. Now I can also click with the Option key and it will bring up, it will force that colour formats to appear. So let's have a look at that. So if I do that and just click, it copies it. That's it, done. But if I do that again, but hold down the Option key, that appears. And that is the interface to Colour Snapper. And these options down here are the colour, the different types of colour. So, you know, Android wants something different, Photoshop wants something different, Swift wants something different. I tend to go for generic hex. But you could have CSS hex, CSS RGB, you name it. So if you were actually creating CSS, you could change the format. But I just want those 6 characters or numbers. So I leave it set to generic hex. But once you've selected it, it doesn't mean you're stuck with that. That's what's on the clipboard right now. But you can just go up and down here and choose a different one. And as soon as you press enter, that's what's copied to the clipboard. So that's what it's talking about when it says hold the Option key down. You can also change the appearance. So you can choose your magnification. You can choose your capture area. You can have a colour overlay if you want. And you can change the user interface to a dark theme, which I have done for that one. And then there's your code styles. So you can change all of those as well, whether they're uppercase, lowercase. You can add a prefix if you need it. Anything you need to do, you can do that in there. Once I've set up the colour picking options, the keys, I pretty much leave it alone. And that's my point. It's one of those things that once I've set it up, it's set it and forget it. So all I need to do is keep using that shortcut key, hover over where I want to select and literally go through there. Now, let's say I do that on the yellow. So let's get a real demo going. All right, I've got the yellow. It's on the clipboard, but I forget to paste it. I go and get the green. And then I go to the green and I paste that in. Now the yellow. So it would be very annoying to have to go back and keep reselecting it. And that's where the other shortcut key comes in. Command, Option, Control, and the right bracket key. And that brings up that. Now, I actually usually have that in the centre of the screen. It's a little bit like Alfred. It gives you a full history. Literally, here is the full history. I was working with a lot of oranges, you could see at one point. This one is starred. So if I do that, it filters it for stars. So which were your favourites? And that's my desktop colour. So that's starred. If I move back a bit, these are the Notion colours. These ones here. But there's my yellow. And all I need to do is press enter. And I can paste it in. So this is not replacing the full features that you would get with Colour Schema Studio, but it's the one that's replaced what I used to use Colour Schema Studio for in terms of picking off the screen. There's a million different apps that do this. The reason that I've settled on this one is I don't want detail and to be bothered. Where's the red one? I just want it to work like that seamlessly. I don't even need that thing flashing up in the top left corner, but I leave it be, and it leaves me be. That's the fastest way I've found to do what I've just done there, which is that. So now I've got a list of all those text codes. I'll move that out of the way because the next step's to make the icons. But that was the part of the demo which is showing you how to actually use that app to capture those colour bits. Next thing to do, and I'm using the beta, this is one I did earlier. Blue petered for you UK viewers. Right, that was what I did. I wanted one to match each colour. I must admit, I started off and I thought I'd just do a black icon. And next to the red text, it looked appalling. And that was when I came up with the idea of, well, this is what I'll do. Right, so we need to know how to do that. So I'll make a new file, starting completely from scratch. Now, I just pressed enter. I didn't bother playing around and making it square and all the rest of it because I'm going to use artboards. So I'm just going to insert an artboard. I'm not even worried if it's the right size or not, because the size you make this is completely up to you. I made it 1440 square. Reason is that's the latest size from Apple for artboards. Not artboards, icons in podcasts. So I thought, oh, is that a standard? Fair enough. So I did it quite big. So I will make it that. So I'm just typing that in down in the lower right-hand corner. And now I've got one artboard that is going to be the black icon. Now, I need another 9 of those. So if I zoom out a bit, I should be able, and this is a little bit awkward. You see that? I'm holding down the Option key, trying to get a copy of it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Very annoying. And I could do with that a set distance away from there as well. It's not letting me do very easily, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'd like that to be 300. But it's just fractionally over 300. But never mind. And I would just attempt to get all the others as well. You see that's twanging, so they're laying themselves out very nicely. Obviously, I'm going to need to go in and rename these things for the right colour. I'm not sure how compliant it would be if I tried to duplicate all 5. But hey, let's give it a go. Do like a challenge. Copy that and paste. It didn't dislike that, did it? It just put them over the top of the other ones. What I'm doing now is holding down the Shift key and using the down arrow, and it's moving it 10 pixels at a time. That way I get nice, precise placement. So let's just get those laid out. We will have those 300. They'll be right. There you go. And then just go in and sort out the colours, which I'm going to leave at the moment because I don't know what colours they are yet. I just know that that one's going to be black, which is this one back here. So double click on the thumbnail. That will take me in there. Making the icon was an absolute doddle. All I did was draw that out and then make it the right size, which was, if you recall, 1440, and set that at 0. I think I made it a little bit squarer like that. And that was it for the background, which handily is the bit that's going to have the colour. So zoom out so we can see the whole lot. I will copy that and then just go through and paste it onto each artboard. Simple as that. There we go. And then I need to make them the right colour. Now, that's not going to be difficult. You know it's not going to be difficult because up here at the moment it's got a grey fill. If I double click on that, it brings up the colour chooser. So I'm going to go and get that colour from over on the other screen, which was in that Notion style guide. And I'm going to paste it in there. And that gives us the right colour. Simple as that. And I must admit, I'd gone through doing this when inspiration struck me. And I thought, woman, you're a genius. Because if I want checklist icons, the odds are I'm going to want icons for other things inside Notion. And I'll be reusing these colours over and over again. So, at that point, what did I think? Come on, I want you guys awake and I want you typing into the chat. What genius idea did I come up with at that point? I'm going to go and get the grey colour while you have a think about it. So I would go in there, double click on there, paste it in the hex area. It didn't like that, did it? Let's try that again. There, that's better. And this one, which would be brown. So I will be keeping my eye on the chat when I'm not looking at this. So come on, what would you do if you had a whole range of colours that you needed to reuse? Now, Graham's going to say, well, that was why I wanted Colour Schema Studio. Yes, didn't we all, Graham? But sadly, that's not going to happen. So there is an alternative. It's an alternative that's portable. It works in any application, which Colour Schema Studio did. Just a matter of working out what that option is. I'm wondering if you considered what that option might be. But I'm just going through and dealing with this one by one at the moment. So there's the top line done. Let's save that before there's a calamity. So I'll just call it demo. Oh, I've done that before. Okay, let's put the date in. That'll do. All right. So let me have a look at the chat. Who's come up with an idea? What's going on with MacBites Siri? I'll have to catch up with that chat later.
Paul and I were talking about
Oh, Paul needs to hang around. Paul, you've got a starring role shortly. Right, okay. Nobody's come up with a suggestion for what's the right thing to do with that. I'm disappointed, guys. I will tell you, but I'm disappointed. Naughty, naughty. Right, I've done half of them. That'll do. You get the principle. You get the principle. Ah, great. Graham's warming up here. Palette sets. Palettes is the answer, Graham. Right. I'm not going to go over colour management in Affinity Designer. The last time I did that, it was 2 hours long. Well worth watching. It's on YouTube if you like. I'll give you the potted version, which is in this colour swatches area. There is a drop down and it shows you all these palettes. There's hundreds of them. The ones at the top are Affinity Designer application palettes. They only exist inside Affinity Designer. The ones at the bottom, the Pantone ones, are, as the name implies, the Pantone ones. But these in the middle, which have a little Apple logo, these are your system palettes. So you may be familiar with crayons, and there was WebSafe, System, and Apple. Obviously, I've added a lot of my own. ScreenFlow's mine, Blue Yeti Assets is mine, Blue Yeti Course is mine. All the Microsoft colours were mine. Scrivener installed the Scrivener one, but I made Scrivener Assets and I made another one. You'll notice there's a Notion one. This was one I made earlier. This was my genius idea. It's got in it the colours that I need in here. But I don't just want to say, there you go, this is one I made earlier. Let's actually do it. So what I need to do in here, if you're going to do that, is go up to here. And these are where you create a new palette and the 3 types of palette you can create. Application palette only exists in Affinity Designer. Document palette, even narrower, only exists inside this particular Affinity Designer file. Or a system palette that exists system-wide. Well, I'm going to be making videos about Notion. Love Notion. Makes the difference between getting something done and not, basically. So it makes sense for it to be a system palette. So I said, make a new system palette. It always comes through as unnamed. So I have to go back up there and then rename the palette. Now, obviously, we've already got a Notion palette because I've already done one. But I will call this Notion demo. And then it couldn't be easier. It is really simple. So we'll start off with this colour over here. There is a button there. It doesn't look like a button, but it adds the current fill to the palette. So click there, click the next one, click the next one, and the orange and the rather dirty yellow, and you start building up your palette. Now, just to save time, so I'm not copying and pasting hex codes, if we go to the Notion one, which was the one that I'd already created, here are the other colours. So I will use that to make the green, the blue, and the purple, the pink, and the red. But just for the sake of completeness, I'll then return to the other one and add them all. So there's the green, there's the blue, there's the purple. Hang on, add that purple. Naughty. There's the pink, and there's the red. Now, you could leave it at that point if you wanted to. I would suggest you didn't, because I'm sitting here thinking how best to demonstrate this next bit. I will do it with Pages. That's what I'll do. I'm just going to show you what happens in the system palette. So a new Pages file, anything will do, not interested, just need to type in a word and then try and change the colour of it. Simple as that. So heading, that's all we need. Going into there, clicking on that takes us into here. Now, normally you might be in that one. I'm in the crayons a lot, to be honest, the pencils. But you go in here, that says Microsoft, and these are all named colours. If I go into Notion, these are exactly the same palettes that you see here in Affinity Designer. You'll notice they're all neatly named. But that demo one that we just created, not neatly named because it doesn't understand it. It's just given it a number. But in here, you can just double click and start typing in whatever it is. So we'll do that as well. We're very nearly finished with that. And whatever you do at this end will be replicated back into Affinity Designer. One's green, I think, followed by blue, purple, and pink, and red. Now, I hope you're following along, but just not too closely, because you don't need to make these. I'm going to got a free file with all of them in, so you can have a play around with it. So that's that one. And that's, so if I do that, you can see it's changing that heading up there with all of the colours from there. So that's the beauty of creating a system palette. No, we want to delete it. We're not interested in that. Right. So back in here, if I go into there, I'm sure I can, if I change the view, where's the view? Show us a list. Now you'll notice it's not actually come through there, but it should do. It will do the next time it loads it in. It will, honestly. So you can see the names in there as well. So let's add that back to, oh, let's have it. No, we don't want a list. We don't want it medium list or otherwise. There we go. That's better. I can see them. Right. So we're doing quite nicely at that point. Obviously, when it comes to exporting these things, we're going to need these to be the right name as well, or they're not going to export properly. That's going to take seconds. Right. The only thing that's left to do is design one of these icons, because they're all identical apart from the background colour, and we've already done that bit. So all I need to do is put in the 3 lines, and it doesn't matter. I mean, in this case, it happens to be checklist, but it could be any kind of icon, and I will be making more of my own because I absolutely love the idea. It really customises Notion and makes it far, far easier to work with. So that's what I'll be doing with it, and that was why I took the time to create this thing. Oh, we don't need to rename black, do I? It's already black. Well, it's in here, black as makes a difference. Right, so all I did was get a circle, hold the shift key down so it's a proper circle, not concerned about the colour of it yet, and a rounded rectangle. And pull that out. That'll do, it's about right. And is it close enough to that? I think I'd have it a little bit further that way. 140 pixels between them. And obviously, I don't want them that colour. I want them white. So there's the white one. At that point, I think I'd group it, and I think I'd put it in the middle. And then I just need to duplicate it twice. Simple as that. At that point, I would be looking to distribute them. So arrange. No, I don't want to do that with them. Where are you? Where have you disappeared to? Do that. I want the actual panel. Where on earth have I put that panel? Let's try and get the panel. I don't want arrange. Ah, there we go. That's what I want. Vertically. I want to do that vertically. Just disappeared to. Distribute vertically. Perfect. Group them again, and now just put them in the middle. And that's it. Copy, and then do exactly what we did before, which was whiz through and paste. And it's that fast to make those icons. Now you may be thinking, yes, but at this stage they're only in here, they're only on artboards in here, and you've got to export them. But that's pretty quick as well. Into your export persona, which is up there, third button from the left. I don't want the whole lot exporting, I just want this exporting. If you actually look in Notion, Notion tells you it would like them to be 280 pixels wide. So I put in 280 in one of these. Then I select it and I click the copy button and I go down to all of the others, just to prove this point. They're all exporting at 1x, which is going to be the full size. And I don't want that, I want them at 280, and then just paste. Now when I go back into that pink one, it's going to export 280. That's it. You're done. All you need to do is export the 10 slices. We'll stick them on the desktop. Ooh, that's tidy. I think I did that before we started. Right, I shall put in there Notion icons. And export. And that's it. Now, I'll show you the very last bit, which is how on earth do you get them in Notion? How do you get them in Notion and make that work? So here they are. Let's do a quick preview. There they go. Perfect. Right. So going back to Notion. See the chat at the minute, but I won't be able to in a moment. Right. Let's put them on this style guide demo page. Right. I'm going to put a page in here. So we'll put page. This is a blank page, but we'll say it's a checklist. Checklist. For what? Ooh, how about editing video? Yes, I could do the checklist for that, couldn't I, Mike? I'm getting the evils. Right, so at that point, I've got a page. If I just hover in the area above, I can add an icon, cover, or a discussion. What I want to add is an icon. When you do that, it randomly assigns an icon. The only icon I ever actually use from there, because this is my recent, is that red dot. And that red dot means today. You'll notice I have a page for today. I have a page for every day. And I use that one. So you can use any emoji. It just randomly assigns one. But you can also upload an image. And this is where it tells you the recommended size is 280 by 280. So I'm just going to choose a file. And goes to the desktop. Open the Notion icons. But we won't make it. We'll go for something nice like blue. And open that, and it will load it in. Said optimistically. What are you doing now? You've zoomed in. So there's that one, which means when I go back to this, I get the checklist with that icon. Now, can I duplicate that? We just duplicate. That'll do nicely. We duplicate all three at once. Let's get ambitious. Yay! We're liking that. Right, so go into this one and change the colour. So again, upload, and we'll choose something radically different like the pink. There's the pink. And then all I did to make it look completely integrated, that's not pink. Why are you not pink? I definitely said pink. Pink. Open. That's better. There's the pink. Right, all I did to make that match was click on there and change the colour to blue for that one and pink for that one. So when you change the colour, it doesn't touch the icon, obviously, because you might want an emoji. But if you make the icons match the text, then it works perfectly. And you've actually seen that live with today's thing. Which was that one? No, not that one. That one. So that's what I do to make that totally integrated. So, whole integrated demo there. Who's going to use that? Let me know in the chat. Mike's going to put a link in so you can go and download those and have a play with them. Mike's doing that right now, Mike assures me, which is fantastic. Yeah, there's the free download. That's got all 10 icons in. I could have done the colour palette as well, couldn't I? Mike, make a note. I'll put the colour palette up there. You can export a colour palette as well. Make another note, Mike. I'll show them how to install that next week. But for the moment, let's... In the same note. Let's go mad in the same note. Oh, because I'm getting so excited now because there's an iWork update. Colour palette. Share the colour palette. And a note to install the colour palette. He's far faster with a pen. He's trying to type it, bless him. iWork has got updates. They're not fabulous, but there's a couple of features that aren't bad. Thought we'd start with Pages. Now, let me know in the chat. And don't just sit there. Do let me know in the chat. You know, one, you're still alive and stuff. Are you using these new features? The first one is Table of Contents view in Pages. I'm the one that reads the release note. This is how I find out about these things. So let's go and have a look at that. We've had a look at Pages. Let's go back into Pages, which you don't spell that way. There we go. Now, I did have a file here. I definitely had a file, and it had... Mike's going to like this file when he sees it. So I'll get this file open. No, it's not a spreadsheet. Why would it be a spreadsheet in there? Well, just wait and then you'll find out. So that's just a file. Now, actually, this file's an old file, and it came out of Screen Steps. Remember Screen Steps? We now use Stepshot guides. But this one came out of Screen Steps. And what you're looking at on the left, it's one of yours, Mike. I was pretty bereft of Word files. That was my problem. And so I nicked one of yours. All my Pages files are less than a page. The only time I really use Pages is to write letters, you know, for the fossils that like a stamp on it and stuff. And they tend to be less than a page, and it wouldn't work for this. This one's got 12 pages. So what it's got here, in the view, we've always had page thumbnails. There's the page thumbnails. And we've also had a document-only view. And we had a comments view. But now we've got this table of contents view, which in this circumstance has done a reasonable job. Why have you got view options? I don't want view options. Where on earth have you come from? Yeah, that's fine, but I don't want that. Oh, for crying out loud. Let's do document only. No, I don't want that. Where's that come from? That didn't come up before. Never mind, I'm going to ignore that because I have no idea where that came from. I didn't turn it on. But we were looking at the table of contents view, which is there. Right, now table of contents view is brilliant when you've got long documents because what it's going to give you is a structure within your document on the left-hand side. Now, the thing is, that's not done a bad job. In fact, from that, I can tell that there is one main heading in it, which is this one up here, which is confirmed with the style that's applied on the right-hand side. But then everything else is below that. So these must be using a different style. And they are. Click on there. They're using a heading 2. So that's a heading 1, and all of the rest are a heading 2, which is great. It worked on this document, but if you open other documents, you may look at that table of contents view and there's nothing there. It's completely blank. Luckily, this edit option at the top lets you control how this works by allowing you to just toggle on and off different options in here. Now, by default with this one, it's toggled on the main heading, heading 2, heading 3, and heading 4, which looks randomly different from all the other headings, but never mind. All of those are turned on, so they will be included in that table of contents. If I toggle off heading 2, you'll see what happens behind in the table of contents. They all disappear because you're now not taking text that's formatted as heading 2. Now, actually, we want the heading 2s in. Turn them back on. And then let's have a look at the actual content of this, which is, there's a title, there's always an image, and then there's some text about it. But I've added captions below each image. So every image has a caption. And I'd actually like the captions to be in the table of contents, or at least in the table of contents view, so I can use them to navigate to individual images. That's what I'd really like. And it's really simple because all of the captions, there's one, are using the caption style. There's another one. And they're all using the caption style. So all of this hangs off your ability to use styles. And I know a lot of people don't bother. They just select it and make it green and then make it bold. But this is why styles are incredibly important. Once you've styled something up correctly, like this one is, all you need to do to be able to navigate by the images is go and put a tick next to caption. And what's happened in your navigatable table of contents is you can navigate from image to image to image because they're included in your table of contents, which is a really good addition to it. Not often I've got something nice to say, is it, about iWork? The lesser spotted iWork. But that one has a benefit. I can't believe it's taken them so long, to be honest. I've used that in Word since the early 90s. I had to build solutions with VBA, but I've always used that because I was writing manuals of 200 pages. Half the time Word couldn't even cope with the number of pages, much less let you navigate. So I used styles and I used the feature that Word had over 25 years ago and did exactly that. So basically, Apple have caught up and they've added that in. Congratulations, Apple. But you may enjoy that. Who's going to use that? Let me know. So that was the update to Pages, which I thought was quite handy. So we'll close that down. The other thing is Keynote. Now, must caveat this. I live in Keynote, don't I, Mike? Literally every single day and then some. So anything that they put in Keynote usually is like, oh. And then I try it and I'm like, less than impressed. I don't think I've got a need for an animated GIF, but I'll show you how to do it. You might. So, this is what it looks like. There is an animated GIF from Keynote. That's what it actually looks like in Keynote, because that's what you're looking at right now. Previously, if you wanted to export that as an animated GIF, you'd have to export it as a video and then use another app to convert it. But that's what they're letting you do now. So let's have a look how we can actually make that. So, no, I've just hoisted by my own petard there. I'm actually in Keynote. And when I go out to a demo, I don't close Keynote. I do magic with it, but I've actually had to close it. So I'll bring it on. That's going to be tricky. It's on the other screen and it's way bigger, but we'll do that. There you go. So you've just seen these slides, and that slide there was the one with the animation on it. So what I'm going to do is completely recreate that because, not to spoil the punchline, there's a lot more slides in this one. So we need to recreate. So new file. I'm going for widescreen, but doesn't really matter. And I'll just make that. In fact, I should have done it on black, shouldn't I? But I'll have a blank slide and I will make the background black. So we'll do the colour fill, make it black, put some text on it, which obviously will now need to be white. And what did I have that saying? Oh, yes. Animated. No, not diffs. Animated GIFs from Keynote. Obviously, far too small. That's because this is a 1920 by 1080 slide. So we're going to need that much bigger, but not quite that big. Let's try. Oh, that one's nice. 200. Now, all I did, and I'm showing you the anvil animation transition thing, but it doesn't matter what it is. If you've done that, what's that path thing called? Like, well, yes, it is a motion path, but I can't remember what the feature's called because I never use it. I don't use animation transitions because most of my stuff's online and people don't thank you for it. But I do actually, on occasion, and you have seen this, use the built-in anvil thing. So what I've done there, I probably did that a little bit quick, didn't I? I've got the item in question selected. There it is. I have clicked on the middle button on the right-hand side for animation. and I'm doing a build-in, so I'm clicking on add an effect, and then I just need to find the effect. So I've chosen anvil, but it could just as easily be confetti if that was you. I do prefer anvil, so we're going for anvil. Oh, anvil. I like that. Right. That is literally all I'm going to do. GIFs are best when they're tiny. That's the point. I could put that in an email. I won't, you'll be glad to know. Don't unsubscribe. I won't put it in an email, but you could put it in an email and it would actually play, basically. So you need to export it. Up to File and down to Export. And you have a whole extra option, which is Animated GIF. And in there's very little you can do, to be honest. You've got this auto advanced thing, timings, sizes, etc. Now, when I made it small, it was very tiny. The default is medium, which is 480. I'm thinking they're working on the fact you're going to put this on Twitter or Facebook or something. I'm going to go for 720. The largest it will do is 1080 by 608. I'm wondering why that's not 720, but never mind. Never mind. I'm guessing that's half of a 1920, I think. But it'll do. It'll do. We'll go for extra large. Now, the frame rate, you've only got your 3 options. I'd say have a play around with it. The higher the frame rate, the bigger the file size. So you need a good trade-off. But because I'm broadcasting this to you and there'll already be a loss, I'm going to go for 30 frames a second. It's not going to be that. I've gone for extra large and 30 frames a second. So even because it's very small in terms of there's only one slide on it and one animation on it, it's still going to be quite a big file for an animated GIF. But if you think about animated GIFs, they're very tiny and the quality is shocking. So I'm just going for decent quality here because I have no idea what it's going to look like when it gets to you. So I'm just going to hit next and save that on the desktop. And we'll have that as animated GIF. There we go. Now it doesn't take long, as you can see, literally just seconds. And there it is on my desktop. Now, what I did was open it. And that was fabulous. All I got was every frame in the thing. So literally, if you want to play it like that, you can see, and there it is. Every frame came through, so in preview. Not the best idea I've ever had, because you want to see it. So best thing to do, open it in a browser. So here's the browser. Drag and drop that in there. Play it from there. And it plays in a loop. So I think that's actually not bad, is it? I can't see me using it greatly, but I can see that people who do use Keynote may have a need for that. And although I could do it, and I'm sure many of you guys could do it, you'd need other apps to do it with. So doing it that way, it's a one-stop shop inside Keynote. Can't say fairer than that, can you? Now let's have a look how big that is while we're at it. 3 meg. Well, no, 2.1 meg. Yeah, that's probably not something you want to be putting in an email. Just an idea. Crop it. Take out frames. Go for a lower frame rate, and just have a play around with what you export because the quality is going to depend on the content. You may get away with. Oh, the Quick Look plugin plays it. Nice one, Graham. Let's have a look. So it does. So it does. Didn't think of that. I must have been in Windows at the time. There we go. So yes, that'll play it as well. In fact, that does a better job, doesn't it, than preview? I'm wondering with preview, you could probably edit it in preview. Oh, let's try it. How much could I break it? Let's have a look. How many frames is that? It's 2.1 meg. 76. And that's the end. So, but you could probably lose some of those. And you might be able to do it selectively here. I mean, you've got, how many blank frames have we got? That's ridiculous. So we could definitely lose those 15. So can we delete those? I don't use this, as you may. Oh, I don't see a delete. Oh, no, yeah, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, it will. Right, let's save that and see how that plays. I'm playing now, aren't I? Now, that's taken a little bit of time to save, but not too much. Gone down to 1.7, I think. Let's have a look. Should just play faster. Yep. So you're not really lost much there. So any of those frames that you think you can do without, you could actually use Preview to manually edit it, which will give you far more control than you would have in Keynote. Excellent. So not bad updates, I didn't think. Not bad. Not bad. Right, let's get back into there. All right, tiny, tiny, tiny look at Spot. Literally, because it's brand new. It's brand new and it's out today. And I'm loving it. Right, let me know in the chat who uses Spot. It is a replacement if you like, but it can be used alongside Spotlight. I don't use Spotlight at all on my Mac, but Spot will hook into the back-end system that uses and give you a far better front end to interact with your files with. So let's have a swift look at it. Now, as I said, I've been using the beta since before Christmas, I think. Where have you gone? You're on the other screen. Let's have you on this screen. Right, I tend to have this at the lower edge of my screen like that. And it's completely customizable. So on one level, you can just search for any text, any file, something like that. So if I put in there a Notion icons and searched, it should definitely find the one that's on the desktop. I also had one called checklist. So I'd go in and I'd change my thing to checklist. I think that had a dash after it. No, that's not it. There they all are. So these are the icons that I exported, and they've all got the word checklist in. Anything else that's got checklist, it'll find it. Even inside there, you see it's got that from DevonThink Pro and Evernote. And there's also some other stuff in there. That one it's pulled in from GoodNotes. So it's found quite a few little things there. Oh, an account creation checklist. There's stuff on here I don't even know I've got. But what makes it extra powerful for me is, instead of fiddling around in the system preferences in the Spotlight options, so let's have a look at the Spotlight preferences, which drive me mad on a regular basis. They've all got ticks in, right? You can try and control that to some degree with the privacy options. So, for instance, I don't want my ITV folder. So when you add something here, you're preventing Spotlight from searching it. But that would necessitate going in and out like a yo-yo to extract, to exclude certain folders on a regular basis. And I don't want to be doing that. In fact, I don't recall putting that in there. My best guess is it did that when it installed it. So what I do is deliberately leave all of that alone. Never, ever, ever go in there. Because what I can do in here is control everything. So you'll see you can put in the name and you can have it containing or where it is, where it isn't. You've got such granular control. It's amazing. You could even say where I can't remember the name, but the text contains, and you can type that in. You can limit it to the type of file. So the content type is, and if we go for PDF, it will literally limit it to just the file formats of PDFs. You could say images, image, in which case it will bring back, it's got the, let's have a look, what have we got here? What are you? I have no idea. That's probably a PDF. Oh, it's PNG. They're all PNGs. I haven't got any JPEGs, but that would include JPEGs. If you wanted to be more specific in relation to files, you can put an extension is something specific in there. So if I only wanted PDFs, or at the moment I can filter it with the other options, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes you need it where the file extension is something specific. You can also have the content modified within, created within, last opened, anything you like. And you can just keep adding and adding criteria to get more and more specific. What I actually find much more useful is excluding locations. So if you look at the 4 excluded locations I've got, these are my backup drives. So my documents backup, BU1, BU1, BU1. Yes, I have BU2s, but not on here at the moment. And that one is the image of my main hard drive. So if they're plugged in, which one of them is at the moment, I don't want it to bring back files from that drive, because if I open it, then and I make changes to it, I'm doing it on my backup drive, and then when I re-back up, all my changes are going to get overwritten. So that's my number one brilliant feature of this. It's amazing that. Also, when the top half of this is the locations it's going to search through. And you'll see that I've got it local volumes and user home folder. So basically any drive that's plugged in, except these. But I've also added Google Drive, and that's just amazing. So my Google Drive holds at the moment, I've got 1 terabyte of storage, and it's probably about 40% full. I'm intending to move everything over to Google Drive. I'm waiting for the price to come down a smidgen. I'm on a business account, and believe it or not, I have to pay the same amount for 1 terabyte as a consumer pays for 2. So I'm thinking they need to sort that out, and when they do, I'll get 2 and move more stuff over to it. So the fact I can search my Google Drive from my desktop is nothing short of amazing, because it gives me desktop speed to do it with. Also, another thing that saves a ton of time is, you noticed when I opened this up, that was what I got. Those settings were there. They're my default. But if I'm looking for example, Affinity Designer files, I've got a template for Affinity Designer files, which is pre-populated. Now, difference with that is, looking at it, I haven't excluded all of my backup drives. So I would need to exclude my backup 1 and my backup 2, which is, where's my 2? 02. There we go. And I would, now for this one, Affinity Designer, it's unlikely I've got anything on Google Drive. But just in case, I'll go get Google Drive. Right, now that matches the other one. But it's pre-configured to only look for files that have got AF design in them, the file extension. And that saves such an amount of time. You can also have snippets here with date ranges and images. You see I've got Word files and Google Sheets. So it's just really a matter of pre-configuring stuff. Now, the difference here, I've got all sorts in there. That's all my Google Drive sheets, my sheets files, that one. The difference in here is it uses your locations, because what I thought was templates would open in a separate tab, which they do, but so do snippets. But they seem to pull through the current location. So I'm thinking that's the difference so far. But this literally only came out a couple of days ago. Literally. So if you'd like more on this, let me know. But that is a swift overview of what that actually does. Price-wise, it's £17 for an update and about £34 for the full app. There is an alternative called Tembo from the same company, but it's very limited by comparison to this. If you ever have a need to find files, and I have that need all the time, believe you me, it's worth every penny. It really is. I upgraded before. Because I was on the beta, they brought out the last Gold Master, and you could actually upgrade from within it, and I upgraded before it actually went live, which was a good idea. So that's Hoodaspot, or Howdaspot. I say Hoodaspot, but who knows? Right, now, Paul's with us, I believe. Saving money with Cently. I screen capped this for your enjoyment. So as I say, it was Paul in Spain, who I know has just joined us. So big kudos to Paul in Spain, who recommended to me a while ago a plugin called Cently. It was December 2017, Paul, if you remember. And I went away and duly installed it. It's a Chrome extension, so it sits inside Chrome. I don't know if it's available for any other browser, but if it is, I have only got it installed in Chrome. And what it does, you all know I have a love-hate relationship with virtually all the browsers, and my bone of contention this week has been Firefox not playing nicely with Everything Pro Office. Chrome has been acting up with Gmail. Yes, that's Gmail from Google themselves. The shortcut keys stopped working. Upshot being, I was all over the place with which browser I was in, which turned out to be very fortuitous, because I've been looking at a service called Focus at Will. Let me know if you know what that is. And there was a fantastic offer on Stack Social. a lifetime premium subscription for $69.95, which was reduced from $300. I was keen. I was in. It was 1:30 in the morning, or I would have told Mike. And I was ready to go. And you'll see I was in Google Chrome by accident, because I've switched to Firefox, but that's another story. Anyway, I got it in the basket, and Sentley popped up. And I thought, oh, bless, haven't seen him for a while. Promptly tried 7 codes and got me $17.48 off it. Whoa! I'd seen $1, $2 maybe, but not $17.48. That was amazing. So he told me he had, because Sentley's a little dog icon. And I thought to myself, yes, but what will happen when I click next and complete the order, etc.? Well, look at that. Actually says on it, coupon discount $17.48. So I was really, really thrilled with that. Absolutely thrilled. So thank you very, very much, Paul. Worked brilliantly on that one. And if I'd have been in Firefox, I'd have just lost my $17.48. So I was really thrilled. Now, if you don't know what Focus at Will is, that's actually pretty cool. I like it. I'd looked at it before, but I was a bit at the stage of like, it's a monthly fee and it's not cheap. What it does is it's music, but it's music, it can be classical music or it can be ambient noise, and they claim it's scientifically optimized to help you focus. I thought, I'm up for this. I am. I like my music. I can't be doing with silence. When I go to bed, I actually put on a fan half the time just for the noise. I know I'm strange. So I was really up for this, but the problem was the fee. It's $9.99 a month if you pay monthly, which is $120 a year. You can get a year for $99 or the $2.99 for the lifetime. And I thought, well, I could take it for a month and see how I go. But then you're thinking, then I'm wasting $9.99, which was how come I ended up when I saw this offer of like, whoa, loving that. Let me show you what it actually looks like, and then we'll show you the new toys. Best bit of the night, the new toys. Okay, I've got it actually open in... Now, you won't be able to hear it. That's the only thing. You won't be able to hear it. But if I take you to it in my browser... There we go. This is what it looks like in a browser. Well, what are you doing now? Give a friend. No, no, no. If I was giving a friend, I wouldn't be giving them that link, I can assure you. Right, here we go. That's what it looks like. And what you do is put in there a timing. So the last session I did was 45 minutes. I went for up tempo. And the reason I went for up tempo was I was finishing the stuff for tonight. And I thought I could do with, yes, energy. So that was what I did. There are lots of different type of things that you can choose. So you can have classical. The electro is quite nice. It's sort of an 80s classic feel to it. And there's other stuff as well. Piano, chilling. The cinematic's quite good. I must admit, the ADHD type one, no. It was like a cacophony of pans being banged. So I have no idea what was going on there. The water was very nice, though. That was like rain. And that's just ambient sounds. They've also got some lab stuff that they're working on. I don't know why anyone would sit listening to a propeller drone, but hey, I'm strange as well. But I did quite like the creative cafes stuff that they've got. They've got a focus cafe and they've got this creative one. I've not tried the drum beat yet. But basically what you do is you set it for a time, you set it for an energy. So if your energy level's low, you might want lower music. I wanted a real high energy upbeat thing. And I would say that 45 minutes, I probably got more done than I did the rest of the day. So that's what it does. There's a link there to that because that sale's still on if you're interested. And if you do it in Chrome and you use Sentley, and then you've got to send Paul a thank you. And you'll save some money with it. So that was what I bought. And the fact that I saved a lot of money. Now, we've got a new toy. Any guesses from that new moon what that toy is? So I'm going to give you I'll give you some clues, but you've got to type it in straight away. As soon as you think you know. It's a new toy. It's not even out yet. It's for iPad. Any ideas yet? It's from a company who have made Mac apps for over 10 years and an iPad app for about 4 or 5. And these are best-selling Mac apps at that. And we've had lots of requests to cover both their flagship apps. They have 2 flagship apps on desktop. And I've covered them both. So, Mike, do we have any guesses yet? AirPods. No, they're not AirPods, Graham. No, not that toy. The moon wouldn't have changed colour with the AirPods, but it is a toy, and it's got an icon. You have actually seen that icon tonight on my iPad. How much attention were you paying? Come on, one more guess. One more guess. Come on, Mike, get in the chat. Any more guesses? No more guesses. Oh no, I'll just have to tell you then, won't I? Pixelmator Photo. Pixelmator Photo is coming out on Tuesday. You heard it here first. It is an iPad-only app, and it is Pixelmator-ish. Now, before I start talking about it, you're going to want to know what hardware you're going to need to run it. What you're looking at there is an 11-inch, no it's not, it is a 12.9-inch iPad Pro. Obviously, that will run it. These are the iPads that will run it. Now, I must admit, 9.7 iPad Pro, fair enough, that's relatively new. The 10.5 iPad Pro, again, fairly new, fair enough. The 11 inches are given, and all of the iPad Pro 12.9 inches, 1, 2 and 3 will all run it. Mike, what on earth is an iPad 5th and 6th gen? Because I lost all track of it at the iPad Air stage. Well, you'd think so, but no. It doesn't run on an iPad Air. Now, the thing is, it will run on an iPad Air too. But Apple have categories, and they only let them tick one box. So either it runs on both of the iPad Airs, or they won't let it run on either. So they had to go for the it's not running on either. So as long as you've got one of those iPads, now would be a very good time to buy. Now, I'm thinking Graham's not upgraded yet, have you, Graham? So I'm thinking you've got an iPad Air too. Is that right? Is my memory recalling correctly? I've got a plan for you, Graham. As long as you've got an Apple store or somewhere you could. Well, yeah, that's what Apple want you to do, but I was opting for the more cost-effective approach. If you've got a friend who can lend you an iPad, you could buy it on there. Now, the reason I'm saying that is, now it's not hugely expensive, but it's in pre-order at the moment. We'll have a look at that in a moment. But as long as you've got one of those iPads, you can go on to the iPad and order it. Now, annoyingly, you can't do that. What you used to be able to do was just buy it through iTunes, but they don't do that anymore, do they? Because the store's now on the thing and you can't, yeah. So that if you intend to buy an iPad in 2 weeks, then you're going to miss this sale, which is very annoying. Unless you could borrow an iPad or go into an Apple store and buy it on their iPad and then put it on your new one when you get the iPad. That's the best plan for you. Even better news, I'm doing a whole live session dedicated to this new app next week, which is Wednesday the 10th. Yes, I would be doing it on the 9th. I've got the beta. But I don't know at what time the app is coming out on the Tuesday. So I figured, you know what, 24 hours won't kill anybody. We'll do it on Wednesday instead. So it's going to be an hour earlier than the after hours. So it's going to be 8 o'clock UK time on Wednesday. Now, the burning question is, what can you do before then? And is it going to break the bank? Well, no, it's not. You can pre-order. And it's $3.99 on pre-order. Yes, that is £3.99, not $39.99. £3.99. Now, I know you're all going to be having questions like, oh, that's so much cheaper than Affinity Photo for iPad. I know. Yeah, that's reflected in the features. But it's probably worth having for $3.99. That is 20% off. It's going to be $4.99 as soon as it's released. So it's a simple business to pre-order it. What time you will get that on launch day is pretty dependent. Early pre-orders came through sort of 4 and 5 hours later, but lately they've been coming through straight away. I did the deed earlier today. So this was me in my iPad. And I went into the App Store. Now, if you've not got a new iPad, you'll like this. You'll see something you won't have seen in your own. But I go to the Pixelmator thing, find it in the store. So you'll see there is a normal Pixelmator at the top, which is more akin to Affinity Designer and Photo. And then there's that one, which is Pixelmator Photo, only concerned with photos. So I tapped the $3.99 and it toddled off. Then it came up with all of that. If you haven't got a new iPad, that's how you have to confirm now. You have to double tap the on off at the top. It does the Face ID. Then it jiggled around with itself for a while and said it was pre-ordered. So I'm good to go. If you want to pre-order, I've made it simple. Now, this isn't an affiliate link. It's just a fast way to get there. On your iPad, egiles.me, Pixelmator Photo, and it will take you straight to the store, and all you need to do is pre-order. And like I've said, pre-order, get ready, you're good to go, and then you can come along to the session next week. Even if you've not got it come along to the session, because you might think, well, I don't know if I want it or not. It's fairly capable as long as all you're doing is editing photos, which might sound like a given, but when you think of all Affinity Photo can do, this is not intended to compete with Affinity Photo. It is for processing raw images to completion. So if you think more about how Photoshop compares with Lightroom, then you're about right. I'm thinking things now about the next step, because the next step is unboxing time, which could prove to be fabulous, or it could be a nightmare. Never mind, let's have a look at it. We have got multiple things to unbox. Now, obviously, I've been trying to get something ready, and it's finally done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on, and I'll talk you through it while Mike goes and gets the box that we're unboxing. Now, to do that, I'm going to need to put it on a slide, aren't I, Mike? Yeah, bring the big one up, Mike. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it where it should have been at the beginning, which is there. Right, so bear with me while I get this file where it should be, and then we will be good to go and you can see it. Because we wanted to share this with you. So it's in here, hopefully. In the processed folder. There it is. Oh, only 2 gig. Oh my. Do you know what? I'm just going to open it. Because if I put this where it should live, which is Keynote, it's going to start uploading it to iCloud, and nobody wants that. So, yes, you can do whatever you like. Okay, we've got a video to share with you. Now, it's got sound, as this video, but you're not hearing it because we're going to talk over it. But this was what happened on launch day. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put this video. That's us and that's our church. There on the right. That's our church. That's our new roof. This was us. What happened was we decided we hadn't pre-ordered. By the time we got round to pre-ordering, this is really spooky, isn't it? Because that's oh, look, there's where we're going on, where we've been on Mother's Day. Yes, that's the Mersey farm. This is really spooky. But yes, that's us heading off, because we decided when Mike got in, I said, I just had a look in the App Store. He went, what for? I said, well, Trafford Centre have got AirPods. And the next you see is we're on our way to the Trafford Centre to buy said iPods. So what we did was we videoed the whole thing. And that was the video I was trying to process, because it took for absolutely ever to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to upload this whole video with our live commentary from the day. And there is some funny bits in there, believe you me. Now, as you can see, when we got to that corner where I said that's our church on the right, that's a mile from home. So literally, we are on our way to the Trafford Centre. This is the Carrington Spur, and we are heading up there. The Trafford Centre is 2.5 miles from home. So this motorway-looking bit that isn't a motorway is about a mile. And you'll get to see the first sign for the Trafford Centre. So what we're talking about as we're doing this is me buying my AirPods, which is another funny story, isn't it, Mike? It is. So we had a fantastic time. We've got the AirPods here. We're going to show them to you. I won't put the whole of this video on, but do watch the video when we put it out there, because it's funny. But I will take... where's my... where's the controller gone? I think I hid the controller, didn't I? Because the controller should be showing on there. Oh dear, I can't move it on. Never mind, I'll carry on talking. There's some great funny moments in there, put it like that. We worked out this bit was probably a little bit over a mile, and Mike's only doing about 50. There's the Mersey as we head over there, and then you get your first sign of the Trafford Centre. So this whole video is us rabbiting away about why I'm buying iPods and why Mike is not buying AirPods. Why he isn't. There you go, Trafford Centre. Yay! And at this point, I think I said, what's going to happen if we get there and they've sold out? And you said, it's all right, we'll get to Liverpool. And I said, oh, and we could go to Manchester as well. So then we got embroiled into a conversation of the fact we're blessed with 3 Apple stores. And I did check in the app and they all had AirPods in stock, which I couldn't understand, given the fact that it was on 4-week back order. So if you went onto their website to order them, they were on 4-week back order. That was when I said you should have cleaned your windscreen. You remember? How do I get the playback controls on here? I don't know what I've done with that, but let's step forward a bit. Because we're on our way there. Let's keep stepping forward. Step forward. What's the keys? What's the keys? It's those 2. Right, there we go. We'll move forward a bit. So this was us getting there. There we go. Coming off the motorway, and there is the Trafford Centre. Who's been to the Trafford Centre? Either to the Apple Store or not. You'll see it's got its own junction. It's that big. It is that big. Whole car park was available, which it isn't usually, to be honest. Sometimes there's a circus in town, and that car park you can see on the left is all blocked off. But where that blue shiny dome is, it marks the Apple Store, doesn't it? All right, so let's get in there so you can see that. Because we pull into the car park. We then, as you can see, this is where cones go to die. They're building a tram station, and all of these cones. This thing's only been up a few years, and this is the 3rd time they've rebuilt the thing. But this is the entrance to the car park just about now, and it'll be nice when it's done, won't it, Mike? Just in the moment, it's Cone City, as you can see there. All those barriers and stuff, they're not usually there. What you can see opposite is Starbucks, but we don't go in there, not after the last time, do we? We got stuck in traffic for 2.5 hours. We got about 10 yards, and then we got in and it was cold, and we said we weren't going back again. So this is us nearly getting there. Now, then we finally found a parking spot. Oh, and Mike went the wrong way up the one-way system, but we'll talk about that as well. There, well, nearly. You did, here. Look, the arrows are going the other way. They know that I'm not lying.
I'm following somebody else.
You followed that guy in front who was also an idiot who then started backing up into you. At which point you backed up as well. But we'll take you through to the bit where we actually buy them. What we talked about at this point is, I said that space there, the one with the sock, because we're dead classy up here, you know. Every parking spot has a pair of socks. You think I'm joking? I'm not joking. Look, there you go, pair of socks. So we parted from there and then we went in. So that entrance by Selfridges, when we talk about on MacBites, going to the Apple Store and queuing up for stuff, that's it. You can now visualize it. That's it. We stopped at that point and then got walking in there. I went mental because someone was parked in a disabled spot at that point, and it was a Rolls Royce, which I thought was gratuitous. You'll notice Victoria's Secret on the left. Mike totally ignored that. Now, we're not allowed to film in the Apple Store, but we did anyway. Only a little bit, but we did. There's another dodgy underwear shop. Yes. They weren't there, were they, when we talked about queues? Because there's 2 next door to each other. That's the secret pink, whatever the hell that is. But, you know, there isn't enough material there to cover your modesty. So, no, we didn't frequent that. That's our Apple Store. So we were already getting the eyeball from that one in the doorway, the blue shirt in the doorway of their videoing. So we had to stop. But that's our Apple Store. When I got inside, we did manage to do some sneaky footage. So he'd disappeared to get my AirPods at this stage. That was a one-to-one ProCare session going on. ProCare showing me age. You then smiled and waved at the camera. That's the AirPods. That was the display for all of the AirPods. So I picked up an empty box off there. Lots of Beats as well. Oh, that's what you like to see, isn't it? Not sure what that green football thing, cabbage-looking affair was. She'd settled in, hadn't she, with a cup of coffee, and she was drawing away quite happily with herself. At this point, he came back, so I had to swiftly stop filming at this point. But we got our toys. We got images of that as well. This was us leaving the store. I figured I'd be all right when we left. Look what happened. I went in for a pair of AirPods. And what happened? We ended, and so did you. Right, so there we are. Look. Impulse buy. It really was an impulse buy. We'll do the whole sad sorry tale on MacBites. That's on the outside. And this bit that you're about to see, we contemplated Thornton's but thought better of it. that bit there that I just pan past and I pan back to in a minute, when we talk about the Leopard launch and the iPhone original launch, that's where the queue was. And that area that you're looking at there, that was where the queue wrapped around the whole of that gold barriered area. Jonathan will know this. Jonathan's been there, surely. I can't see the chat because I'm on the other bit. I can't see the chat. I might see the chat if I go over here. Oh, I can see the chat now. Excellent. Yes, this was on the way out. Mike's got his AirPods in his hands. He's trying to open them with a car key. Look at him. Walked past her, completely oblivious. Had to be told there was a naked woman behind it. That's what I like. That is what I like. So the rest of that video is us having a whale of a time. So make sure when we put that link up that you go have a look. Questions will be asked next week. So I'll leave that running there while we I'll make that smaller in the corner. Oh yes, then we were back here. Because we did intend to open them at a hostelry, but it didn't go that well. And this was our unboxing. As you can see, 199, so we went for the wireless ones. We did have a bit of a calamity. Not in terms of the headphones themselves. That was fine. We had a bit of a calamity trying to install them. Oh, Carl's been there as well. We need to arrange a MacBites meetup. Yeah, I tried to get them off. You know when you're supposed to lift the lid and it didn't come off. Then I decided to shake it and then the whole thing went. It wasn't having it. I think you did the same, didn't you? I think I dropped it. I was trying to get it to do the Steve slide, but no, the whole thing didn't work. So we did all of that. Obviously, at this stage, this was Wednesday the 27th. And Apple hadn't canned their wireless charging device at this stage. Obviously, 2 days later, they did. We weren't interested in their charging thing, to be honest. What we decided to do was buy cheaper ones, but buy more of them. That was the plan, which was just as well, because they then binned it. So we did buy one, and that video might see the light of day, because that was hysterical. We did an unboxing. I said, we need to unbox this, show the guys on After Hours. And that would have been absolutely fine. Apart from the fact we had a bit of a calamity. We unboxed it, and we couldn't wait to unbox it, you see. So I said, well, we'll video it. We'll be video it. So we videoed it, and we got the AirPods sat on the mat. It didn't work. Wouldn't charge it. So, Nightmare City. So what we decided to do was get another one, send that one back, and try again. So what we've got is a live unboxing. And we do like live unboxings, don't we? I'm just thinking, Mike, my phone's on 12%, which wasn't the wisest thing I've ever done, was it? I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with a webcam because you know what in the backside phone is anyway. Yeah. Now you'll notice there's a join in that video. I'd updated one phone and not the other. So the one I was videoing with was the one I'd updated. I'm a genius. Not. So we managed to get the whole thing set up anyway. But its charging mats were interesting. So we'll leave that running in the corner. So you can see that. But to get its full glory, you're definitely going to need the... There we go. Oh, look. There's the controller I was looking for. It was underneath it. Right. You're definitely going to need to see all of that. So we'll leave it running down there with me having great fun setting that up. And we will get our multicam thing on. Mike, lights. Let's have lights, camera, and action. And we have... Let's make that smaller. Let's go to that one. Okay. Oh, you're getting it in stereo here. Look at that. This is live. Hello. This one's live. The one behind, not so live. But hey, we do like a challenge. You'll notice I already have a charging mat. But one wireless charging mat's no good at all, is it? No good at all. So let's get rid of that one. Should we do a simultaneous unboxing, Mike? Where you unbox things simultaneously? You've got an unboxing, haven't you? Yeah, we'll come across here. We can both get... Did I have it? Yeah. Oh, I've got my toy. I gave it back to you. I told you I'd written on it what it was. Mike's lost his toy. Don't you remember? I wrote on it and handed it back to you. He's lost it. Never mind, I'll just have to watch mine. Here's mine. Thank you. I got the blame for that as well. Right, here's mine. There's the camera. Whee! Right. Because they need to see these together. There's mine. Ooh. There's yours. Struggling. That's right. Destroy the entire box.
Make sure I put this in the right rubbish.
Yes. Right, so there's Mike's. And there's mine. You'll notice there's a mismatch in terms of count. You can never have too many wireless charging mats, I don't think. Right, you go play with yours. Now it's open. And I'll open one of these. The first one we went for was a RAV Power, and it failed us spectacularly. It said it charged anything. It didn't. It didn't charge the AirPods. So what we did with this one was we did a quick search on Amazon and made sure that it supported the AirPod 2s. So this one actually said in the description it supported it. We'll make sure that the link's in there for that as well. So we had higher hopes with this one. The issue for me was I wanted a white one, and the Anchor one was only in black. So I ended up with the black one. But never mind. So let's get in here. Tell this is live. And it's not being unboxed. Look at this. Spot welded. Now, price-wise, this one was on offer, which was also very lucky. We paid £12, which was considerably less than we ever expected to pay from Apple. That's not doing that. I'm going to need a pair of scissors. I'm going to have to give in and use the scissors. Here we are. You'll notice I don't have the pink scissors anymore. Hand them over to Mike. Won't use pink scissors. So there we go. Now, it's flat as you can see. It does not come with the brick part of the charger. It does, however, come with a cable. So there's the toys. Instruction book, which is pretty self-evident from memory. I think the other one was actually more difficult. Because what you do need to understand is the lights and what the lights all mean. So there's quite a bit of that. But basically, if it lights up, it's working. If it doesn't, it's not. Right. Does it? It smells all right to me. Right, now, get that out that way. I think you did. Okay, here's the short version of those instructions. There we go. So that's it, size-wise. That's probably what? About 4 inches. And this is the nice IKEA-ish thing. You can't really go wrong with that. Basically, it tells you to plug it in. And, what's that? 3. When the light goes on, it's working. Place that on the middle and you're done. Now, one thing is, they're in a case. They're in a little silicon case. It's a transparent thing, so you can just about see the light on the front. The light on the front is only on the wireless pair. But it's there. Now, I'm going to need the cable, which is in here. Tells you the USB cable is on the inside. Don't miss that. So let's get that. Plug that in the back, and then I will plug it in one of my many 10 ways. So this cable is not a lightning cable. It is USB, so it's a Kindle cable. Let's get that focused. Can I have a focus? No, you're not going to have a focus. But it's the same as a Kindle takes, and most Android phones. So let's plug that in. That's in. And let's get that plugged in over here on my 10 way. Little green, blue light came on in that that edge there. So that comes on for a second, and then it all goes quiet. Now that's stuck to my desk. That all goes quiet until you stick something on it. So my thought was, will it charge in this little silicon case? It's not thick, and with it being magnetic and there's a magnetic strip on the back, it does make you wonder. Plus the fact the magnetic strip is right underneath that little bulbous bit there. So I thought, might not work this. Might not work. But popped it on there. Light comes on, it's orange. Let's get you closer. Orange means it's charging, and the mat has the blue light when that's charging. So the orange bit goes off as well when you know, it's just letting you know it's charging, but it is charging. The blue light stays on while it's charging. So I don't think it's that flat, to be honest. But, oh, well, yours would be 100%, wouldn't they? My case is not at 100% because I was using them yesterday. So that's actually charging the case and it's charging the AirPods. Now, while it's having a think about that, you also have on here the lightning port underneath. So you can charge it with a standard cable if you want to. And obviously that was what we had to do for the 2 days we were waiting for this to arrive. It arrived, this one, because the first one arrived on the Thursday and it didn't work. So then we organised another one. I was literally just saying to Mike, oh, the Amazon man's 3 stops away. When the news came through that Apple had binned it, and Mike said, oh. I said, it's all right. It'll be here in 5 minutes. So we ordered one at first, make sure it was working, which was the one you saw on the desk when we moved, when we got the video going. And we've since ordered one for Mike, so I don't know where he's putting that, and 2 more. So one's going in the bedroom. And I don't know, you might have one in the kitchen, Mike. We probably need one downstairs, don't we? Now, these things, they will only take one device, which was probably why Apple were distraught with their thing and the stuff they'd sorted out. Now, while we're sorting that out, this one over here, look at the video in the lower right. You do not want to miss this video when it goes live with the sound on it. Look at him. It gets worse than that. I wish you could hear the sound on it. It gets a lot worse. You know Mike has this penchant for air guitaring. What he was proving there was that they didn't fall out, and obviously they didn't. But then he decided, as I changed the music, which you'll see in a minute, I think. Here you go. What am I playing? I know it's there somewhere. There you go. Summer of '69. It's his #1 air guitar song. And watch this. He was threatening me at this point that if I videoed it, I'd be dead. So I did. Oh, and there's all my magazines and stuff as well. Oh, you've got to hear this with sound, haven't you? Oh, they do. They do. So, you've definitely got to see that MacBites Unedited Original is what we're calling that. With him playing quite happily with his AirPods. Right, so that was the AirPods. Do they charge twice as fast if you stack them? No, sadly not, but it's not a bad idea. I was thinking it'd be nice if they were a little bit bigger. Now, I think you can get bigger ones. But at the moment, that's the only wireless thing we've got. Next phone will get probably charges wirelessly. So again, I can see possibly putting 2 of these in the bedroom, maybe. They're not that big that they wouldn't go there, so we'll be quite happy with those. So let's move that one out of the way. There you go, MacBites Unedited Original. Right, I don't know if we're going to get this next one on the table, but it's really important, this next one. This next one is going to enable us to do what we're planning, which is... It's not your blow-up doll. No, it's not. Not a blow-up doll of any description. It's going to enable us to do what we need to do, right? So, how are we going to approach this? It's huge. You look after that and I'll get it on the desk. And it weighs about 5 stone as well. Right, there you go. This is what you call an unboxing. It's massive. Right, this has been sat there for 2 days, hasn't it? I left it downstairs. I wasn't about to start carrying it up. It's quite heavy. So I'm opening it at this end here. All right. Mike's going to be as surprised as you are. He has no clue what's in here. I think I'm going to have to turn it round to get to the other end. I've no idea which way's up even. All I know is it's really heavy. Ugh. The fact it's this heavy, I hope it's not this heavy in use. Right, there's that end. No, need the scissors again. Too much sellotape. Any guesses? Any guesses? Woo! Oh, guess what's inside it, Mike? Another box. I'm not kidding either. That's stuck on the microphone. There is another box inside, all wrapped up. That's a brilliant bit of packaging on Amazon's part, that. I'll turn it to you. You pull the box out. We'll get rid of the spare box. And then they can all have an admire of the box. And then have another guess. Right, so this box is now empty. This box, totally empty. Let's lose that box. Right, I'll cut those straps off while it's there. That's the straps going that you can hear. Now, does it say which way's up? It doesn't, does it? Right, I'll get the sellotape and then we can put it that way up. Because they're not seeing much at the moment. It's that big. I need to do it over here. Oh. Right. Oh, you can see half a label there. Right, I'm trying to get this end open. Wow. This sellotape's like 3-tier duct tape. Right, I've got it open. I've got part of it there. This is really tricky. Just pull that out, mate. We need to get that on top of there so they can see it. Right, let's put that bit there. Okay, there's one bit. You've got a bit of a clue because there's a make on it. Right, and now there's another bit. I'm wondering, you know, how many bits this is in. There's another bit of the same toy. I think there's probably another. Yes, there's another bit in. Oh. Now this bit's in a bag. Let's get that. Is that it? Can you just have a look in that box, Mike, and tell me, is there anything else? Right. Now you should be able to have a guess from that.
Oh, it's an empty box.
Wait, we now have an empty box. So we've got 3 bits to this. We've got the white bit there. That's at the back. Right. You pull that brown box out the way, Mike. We've got that bit there. It's in a very snazzy case. And we've got this bit in the brown box. So I'm expecting some guesses now. Come on. Somebody somewhere must have some kind of idea. Nope, nope. I'm liking the flat pack coffin idea, but it's not. No. I reckon the bit that'll give it away is in the black bag. Do you not recognise the make? Does anybody recognise the make? The make is Niwa, who do camera stuff, basically, and electronics. More sellotape. Get into this bit here. Let's have a look if seeing in there would make... Yeah, that might give you an idea. Let's show you in there. Right, do you want to stab at having a look at and a guess, Mike? You're none the wiser. Get that out of the way. There you go. Big bracket? No? Ball head? That's a camera thing, yeah. That's a ball head to put it on. That's an electrical cable. So this is a do-it-yourself thing. Getting this together is going to be interesting, isn't it? But that's half of it. So we got a projector. No, Jonathan. No, we've got a projector. They do make camera stuff, and this is camera-ish. It's camera-ish. I'm going to save you from yourselves. So not open the white one. Because the white one, you should guess. You should guess the white one if you know it's camera stuff. What could be a camera thing that's that length? A tripod. That's a stand. There you go. Not a tripod particularly, but a stand. And that's quite heavy. Jonathan says a Steadicam. You're in the right ballpark with that, Jonathan. You really are. You look after that bit. Because when I open what's in this bag, look at the size and shape of it, guys. What could be in that bag for a camera? Oh, prize to Carl, a lighting rig. Because we got lots of shadows in here, haven't we? And we can't film at night. So what we've got in there is a lighting rig, if I can actually get it out. There we go. There we go. One lighting rig. So, oh, it's got all night. Yeah, it's very nice. That's actually quite heavy as well. So it is a ring light. It's 14 inches. And hopefully the video thing will be going in the middle. where we will be doing more video. So not a light box, a lighting rig. That is quite heavy. So it's got battery power here. It's got AC power here. You can have it on battery, you can have it on the adapter, and we went for the one that's the bi-colour one, so we can adjust the tone of the lighting, which is up here. Just move that so you can see it. That is here. You can have the lighting yellow, you can adjust the yellow, you can adjust the white. So all we've got to do is get it together, which now I've seen the size of it, could be very interesting in here. There we go. So hopefully that'll be set up at some point before the next show. But what we're actually intending to use it for is so we can actually record stuff as we go. It is for the illuminated backsides. I'm liking that, Simon. Yep, it's the illuminated backside machine. That's what we'll call it. So that was one that I specifically kept for tonight. That was very good of me, wasn't it? All my toys were there, and I can't get that back in that bag. I'll leave that to Mike. In fact, what other thing? Oh, the green screen's still out of its bag. No, does anybody know how to get a green screen back in its bag? No, you just take that over there. Never mind. Right, so we've unboxed that. Now, what else did we have to talk about? Let me have a look. I think that... Oh, hang on, I'm at the beginning and I need to be at the end. Yes, so we can head back into that. Let me lose this. So we're going to have some good unboxings, aren't we? And you're going to enjoy the video that we did for you at the Trafford Centre. The bit where we're trying to get the thing set up was hysterical. You definitely need to see it. Right, where's the multicam window? Right, let's lose that and get back to this. Because more exciting things coming up. Oh. No, even before that. The next one is next week. On Friday, the 12th of April. Now, we challenged Graham particularly last week to work out what was special about the 12th of April. Nobody guessed. Graham suggested it could be MacBite's birthday, but that's October. So does anybody have... You've got one last chance to work out why on earth the 12th of April could be incredibly important. I might be prepared to give you one clue if you need it. But you need a clue. I can tell you the number of years involved. There you go. The number of years. I could tell you the number of years involved. If I did, it might give you a bit of a clue. Oh, what's the score? That'll take them thinking, won't it? I'll put that up next week. I'll put it on a slide. I've got that in my Notion. No clues? No clues? Oh, God, no, not in my lifetime. I doubt I'll see the end of Brexit. Oh, it would have been, yeah. Because, yes, they were talking about April the 12th, but there's no way they'll be ready. But it did concern us at the time. Right, who's got a clue now? You want the clue? 27 years. What on earth could that be? First one to say my birthday wins a prize. Because I'd be quite happy to be 27 again. 27 years. Oh, I could give them another clue. A lot of people say you don't get that for murder. That'll give it away. So come on, what is it? That time delay is agonising. You see people typing like what they type in. But Jonathan, I love you. If only I were 27. Yes, it's our anniversary. And we're going to have a party with you guys online. Oh, never mind going out for romantic dinners. Never mind that. We are going to have a party with you instead. There may be cake involved. Graham, you might want to see this. There will definitely be cake involved. I think it's safe to say there'll be cake involved. And hopefully, as we've got the lighting rig set up, there'll be video of other things as well that arrive this week. But there will definitely be cake involved. Absolutely. So all you've got to do in the week is come up with ideas of things you'd like to see. Like Carl did and Graham did.
Send us an anniversary
Oh, yes, and send us an anniversary card. That's a good idea. Oh, bless, some of them will. That'd be so cool. Yeah, we did the 25th thing a couple of years ago, didn't we? We didn't have a romantic meal that night either. We don't do the romantic meal thing. Go to the Apple store and buy things. Yeah, we've already done that. So that's how you can contact us, and we definitely want to hear from you. Do you know, putting this thing up here was all a jolly good idea, and now I can't see the chat. Because I didn't put the extra machine up because I got annoyed with it. When I did, it all started going mental again. Ah, yeah, my AirPods still charging, you'll be pleased to know. So at least that's working. Okay, I'm going to come out of that. Of course they are. Right. The light's gone off. Which one? Blue one or the orange one? The orange one should go off. The orange one should go off. Right, so I don't know where the contact thing's gone, but I'll stick that on so you can see that, and then I can see the chat. I haven't even looked how mine are doing. It would be a silver wedding, but we're 2 years beyond that. Are we going to be drinking? Well, I'm teetotal, but I might decide to get Mike sozzled. You never know. We could have a Mac drinking game. We could have a drinking game. I'll keep drinking till they update iWork. We could try that one. Videos of what on your anniversary? Ooh. You want photos of when you first met? Okay, we can do that. Might make a note. I don't think we've got a photo of the actual day, have we? There's 2 dates involved here. There was the date we met, but we were just friends. And then there was the day that he got up the courage to ask me out. But we haven't got photos of that day. It was in the days of box brownies. But we can provide you with imagery from the day. That's all I'll say. We've got imagery from the day. Actually, we've got video from the day as well. Not that Carl will be thrilled. Let's just leave that there. But yeah, we've got photos of my birthday, wasn't it? The photo that we used in the Prezzo. I think that's the way it was. My birthday. We've got photos of around the time. How about useful sources of vector art? Might make a note of that. We can do that. Certainly can. And there's quite a few places to get some vector art, Graham, and you may recognise some of the sheep involved. So yeah, we can certainly do that. I can show you how I edit that as well. No, you're not being threatened. I'm just thinking how bad it'll be. The photos of me. Oh no. They were taken on my 25th birthday. There you go. That should give you a clue how old I am. But don't tell Facebook because I knocked 10 years off. Never tell Facebook the truth. Yes. So I was 24. No, I was 24 when we met, wasn't I? And you were 24, but only just. Mike, get ready here. Mike's a toy boy. He's a 3-month toy boy. So no, you're not being threatened. We will find a photo. There you go. We'll find a photo and we will share that with you. This could be very dangerous. How about the one of me in the car? I'm not going to get away with that one. The one with me and Grandad, with me in the car. Does it not count? Was I too young? I think I was about 3. Mrs. Simon aghast at the idea of recognising sheep. Well, you need to show her the artwork from 119. That's the sheep I'm talking about. The drunken sheep. In the vector artwork. Because I source the vector artwork and then subsume it into my own. And I have sheep and I have pigs and I have cows. Don't you remember that other one, Graham? Which show was that? Socks, Docks and Shifty Cows. And that was you. You sent a story in. That must have been 108. I think that was 108. Let me show you the dodgy sheep. Can I open that in a new window? Copy image address. That should do it, shouldn't it? Done it online, so that should do it. Right, okay, I'm going to share my desktop again. You know that thing that they do with Star Wars? These aren't the drones you're looking for or something. These are the sheep you're looking for. They came like that. So actually, looking at that, Graham, most of that came from stock artwork. I drew the sun. I sorted the sky out to be a different shape, and I changed the van, and I drew the road in. But other than that, the sheep were required, including the one showing its backside. So that was that one. And there was another one, wasn't there? Socks, Docs and Shifty Cows. There was going to be a cow on it, but I couldn't find one that looked cute enough. So we just had a moo, I think. There you go. It was tiger feet, so it's that one. Tiger feet with added socks, Docs and Shifty Cows, and the cow's just saying moo. If Mrs. Simon really wants her mind blowing, she needs to go back a few episodes. Brace yourself. There you go, Mike's bot. But that wasn't really... Well, yeah, it was Mike's kit that got broke, but it was Graham that did that. And it was me that drew it. And Mike's not impressed with it, but never mind. You know, you should go and check these out, guys, because we're going backwards and we're backfilling posters in. So who remembers the old Razzle Dazzle? Oh, our baby boy. Our baby boy was 89. Yeah, here we go. We got to Office Politics, but we've carried on and we've gone back a bit more now. So we're filling them in randomly, as you can see. I think we're at 71 I've done. There you go, the old Razzle Dazzle. I'm sure someone will remember what that involved. Doing the dirty and dabbling on the dark side. That was when we were talking about going back to Microsoft, I think. And two more that we've done. So we didn't used to do posters. We just had titles. But I've taken to creating posters. That Amazonian warrior one, actually, Graham, was also stock imagery. But I totally changed it. It was a very pale, pastel-y thing. And I wanted it to look quite bright. So I changed blend modes with it and did that. So yeah, we can certainly do that. Show you how I use it. Don't think I've gone any further back. We've got some at the beginning, but those were the last 4 that I did. So yeah, that scared Mrs. Simon half to death, hasn't it? If you ever put the old Razzle Dazzle episode on, that will really blow her mind. Can we just say it involved a piercing parlour? And I shall leave the rest to your imagination. Right, let's head back into that. Right, well, that was a long show, wasn't it? But there was plenty to see, wasn't there? So I hope you found that interesting and useful. All right, let me get to the chat so I can see it. Is there an address on the website you can send stuff to? You certainly can. There is a form on the website, but you can also just use, as Mike's put in there, a physical address. Yeah, we can sort that out. Send us an email and we'll sort it out. He does want to send you a Liverpool shirt. He wants you to see it in it as well. Now, do you know, there's a funny story with football shirts and parties on, isn't there? Yes. Our priest had a party for his 50th a couple of years back. And he's a huge blue. He absolutely bleeds City. And of course, most of the parishioners are United fans. And he needed to raise money for the roof. I mean, we've all done our bit to raise money for the roof. The roof cost £183,000. Whole damn church only cost about a couple of grand. 3,000 to build, I think, when we built it. And the roof's cost us 183 grand. So we're all doing all sorts to raise money for the roof. And he got a challenge. And his challenge was to wear a United shirt all afternoon and have his photograph taken in it. And all these photos that people have taken are all around the church. We're quite a modern church, aren't we? If the bishop ever visits, we're in dire trouble. So yes, we've got all these pictures of the priest. Never mind all his robes and stuff. No, he's in a United shirt with a face on him because he's a blue. So yeah, if you send a shirt, I'll make sure he wears it. There you go. How's Mrs. Simon? Have you bringing around with the smelling salts? Sorry about that, Mrs. Simon. I do hope Jonathan's not telling Mummy Isaacs. How is Mummy Isaacs? I do hope she's well. Used to frighten her to death when we had a MacBites live, didn't we? Have you noticed that monstrosity of a keynote has not warranted another mention? We will mention what we thought of it in the next MacBites, but that won't take long, will it? I think an ultra-fast roundup's called for. Yes, our poor priest. He's a very game man. He's very lucky. We're lucky to have him. We could have an old fuddy-duddy, couldn't we? That would never work. We scared her off. Oh dear, sorry about that. Your blue light's gone off. That means it's charged. Why don't you check it on your phone? Open the lid and see if it's charged. If not, that's my night sorted. I've got to go and sort Mike's charging out. But my blue light's still on. Well, it should be charging then. Have you moved it? It's got to be placed in just the right place. Yes, don't run over that. You've already run over the... Give it here. He's moving his wheelie chair and running over the new toys. Honestly, can't give you a thing to look after for 2 minutes. She's not too bad. That sounds ominous, Jonathan. I do hope she's okay, and the rest of the family. Well, we haven't got much to eat tonight, but we are going out tomorrow for an afternoon tea. Now, obviously, would that I would be forced to eat cake, but I'm gluten-free. And it's an Italian, so it's pasta. So that was all a bit of a disaster, until we rang them and explained the need for gluten-free. Ooh, it sounds good now. So we could probably do a bit of video of that. Would you like to see that as well? Out and about with the MacBites crew. We won't film mass, though, just in case the bishop ever sees it. I wouldn't want you to just have to suffer through that. Although we have such fun at our place. And I can show them pictures from last week, can't I? Next week. Or the week after. Mike served tea to everybody at church last week. He was so dutiful, and when he'd finished, he got down dirty with the Henry. Good night, Carl. See you soon. And it did all the cleaning as well. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. So we haven't got that much to have tonight, but I'm sure Graham's had something nice because he always does. What I've managed so far was some grapes last night, and I think I've maybe got like 2 or 3 grapes left and probably an apple, and that's it. Oh, that's fantastic. Going it to Hale. We know Hale. Have you been to the Italian in Hale, Jonathan? Is it La Familia or Famiglia? It's gorgeous. The one opposite the station in Hale Village. They do the most amazing meatballs. It's one of the few gluten-free meals they do. But I can highly recommend the meatballs. If you ever go there, it's not quite as big as that other one, Piccolino's. It's far more intimate and quiet. So we much prefer it. And of course, the parking is either free or dirt cheap opposite as well. So yeah, highly, highly recommend that. I think I had chicken for the main, didn't I? Chicken and salad. Fruit salad. Now, good boy, Graham. Good boy. Not so sure about the hot cross bun, but the fruit salad. We caused ructions last night. We asked for a fruit salad at an event we were at. And, well, actually, it was comical, wasn't it? Because I was sat next to this vegan. Well, I should have been sat next to this vegan. The last time I went to an event and was sat next to the same guy, I'd ordered the lamb. He is not just a vegan, he is a rampant vegan. He spent an hour and 20 minutes telling me why that poor lamb should have been running around the field and not on my plate. So last night I wandered round and I checked the seating plan and I looked and thought, oh no, he's next to me. But apparently he couldn't make it. So that was a great loss. They served them basically salad. The vegan option turned out to be salad. So everybody else dived in and helped themselves to their salad. So it worked well. If you love Italian, you need to go to La Famiglia, Jonathan. I will get the link. It is a fantastic, fantastic place. And prices are probably mediocre, wouldn't you say? It's not the cheapest, but it's probably not the most expensive. But they are very good. The service is good. The food's amazing. So it's definitely, definitely worth a look. When you're down visiting Grandpa Isaacs. Right, okay then. Well, we're going to go and have something to eat. It's going to be whatever's left over from the fruit salad, while I'm saving myself for tomorrow. I will have photos of tomorrow. Might do video as well, you never know. But don't worry, I won't be carrying around that lighting ring with me. Not even if I can get it back in the bag, which will be interesting. So, hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you next time. But for now, it's good night from me. Good night from Mike, and we'll both see you next time. Good night, guys.